Being advised that a quorum is present, I call the town meeting of West Boylston of October 20th, 2025 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence in remembrance of our friends and neighbors who have departed from us since the last town meeting. Thank you. You may be seated. If you are not a registered voter in the town of West Boylston, I ask you to sit in the first 4 rows to my left over here. If you are not a resident but you are advising a town board or committee, you may sit with that board or committee. You were given a clicker when you came in. I'll get to the clickers shortly. And we will have a test to make sure that there's a comfort level with using them and see how they work. So you did not get a voter card as you did in the past. If during the course of the evening you wish to amend a matter that is on the floor before the town meeting, you need to get a motion to amend form from the town clerk. And the motion to amend must be stated in the affirmative, and it should say what it does to the text, such as striking these words, inserting those words, or some combination thereof. And if you're inserting words, you need to say where they go. And so it's describing what the change to the text is, not just the idea of the amendment. The text, please. That you'll need to give to the town clerk to be properly recorded. There are microphones at the head of each aisle. You do not need to raise your hand for an opportunity to speak. You just come down to the microphone nearest you and in an orderly fashion, wait in line. I will try to take you as you arrive. Bear with me if I get it a little wrong. I will try to give everyone an appropriate opportunity to speak. If the discussion becomes repetitive, I may ask for only new ideas to be presented. But don't wait for me to say, please come down. Just come down and stand by the microphone. When you speak from the floor at the microphone, please identify yourself clearly, first name, last name, and your address within the town, because the town clerk needs to record that, okay? You might need to get close to the microphone to make sure that we can hear you. We can only vote on the motion that is before us, and so we're not rehashing something that we've already done. We're not pulling something forward during the discussion of a particular article. We're discussing that article at that time. West Boylston Town Meeting does not have fixed rules such as Robert's rules or town meeting times, although we certainly are advised by those pieces of guidance. I will try to end debate at an appropriate time. This is an appropriate time for us to silence any mobile device that you may have and refrain from using them in the hall. A motion is now in order to waive the reading of the warrant and the return of service thereto and to return to it as subject matter only. Is there such a motion? So moved. So moved. Is there a second? Second. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right, let's talk about clickers. We have with us our technical expert, whom I will refer to as Peter since that's his name. Peter has some test questions so that we can see somewhere, hopefully over there, how the clickers work. Peter, do you need a microphone?
I do not.
Okay, stand up and yell.
I would like to make a motion that we do not use clickers until we have had a time to maybe put it on the warrant and vote as a town whether we should use them or not. These have just been dumped on us. And last time, we had a 25% failure rate.
I hear you. We have a test in order right now so that people can see how they work or fail to work.
That's great, but we did not vote on this as a town.
And it's
on
not
whether or
required
not-
that we vote on it.
Well, I think it probably should be as a resident of the town.
Thank you very much.
So I have a motion on the floor.
The motion at this moment is out of order. Once we do the test, if you want to make the motion, it may be considered at that time. Thank you. Peter, turning it over to you.
So we will shortly open the vote on a very fun question. Do you press snooze in the morning on your alarm? The answers are yes or no, nothing else. The buttons on the keypad...
Peter, you're going to need a microphone.
One more time. Thank you. You will just press yes, the green button on the keypad, or no, the red button on the keypad. Your display on the keypad will actually show you what you pressed privately, so you see that. In just the test questions and nowhere else, we will actually show you how you voted. Yes meaning green, the number that corresponds with your keypad number will actually turn green, and red means no, it will turn red on the screen. Later on, during the voting on the articles, if we should proceed with that, the colors, yes, green, and no, red, will be turned off. You will see that you voted, your keypad and your vote has been registered. You will see that clearly on the grid. You will simply not see how you voted to maintain anonymity. So the question here will be, do you press snooze in the morning when you wake up? Give me just a second to open the vote, or?
Please open the vote. And so for the town, that is how you will know it is okay to start voting, is I will ask Peter to open the vote. And so once he's opened the vote. So it's not open yet?
It is open.
It is open. Then you can vote.
Missing a roll.
So just a reminder, you will see what your vote is on the screen up here for the test only. You also see it on your device. And so whatever's on the screen should match what your device is telling you that you voted.
Just a note, the number of the keypad is on the back of it, in case that wasn't
You
clear.
can't see the bottom row.
We were working on that earlier.
No, you had it better before.
Did you feel like 5 checking pads was, did you feel like having more checking pads was, yeah, okay.
I'm about to close the vote.
Did you ever have a,
So if you want to change your vote, you need to change it before the vote is closed.
I guess less people, but,
Quiet, please. Thank you. All right, close the vote. All right, so here you can see the tally. So not only can you see what you voted and what other clickers vote, and hopefully you don't know whose clickers those are, but even if you know, during the articles, when we're doing voting on the articles, you will not see a yes or a no. You will see voted or didn't vote. Okay? So you see the tally, total number of votes, total yeses, total nos.
One more?
Let's do another.
Let's do another. This question is, do you think the Patriots will go to Super Bowl this year?
Open the vote. Now, while you're voting yes, you're allowed to vote no for this. You're allowed to vote no for anything. Switching between two screens.
I have to sign the two pages.
Okay. So if you saw the screen change, it's because there are too many for one screen. So this is to show both. So it's done sequentially. Now, if you were voting yay or nay with your mouth, you would do it very quickly. And so I realized that because we're using clickers, you might not be quite as fast, and so I'll allow a little more time, but it really shouldn't take more than 30 seconds for us to vote. And so I will open it up for about 30 seconds. I may extend that to a minute, but that's not deliberation time anymore. By the time we're voting, we're done deliberating. We're done having the discussion. Okay, close the vote, please. Oh, the noes have it. Hopefully it's not predictive. Are there any other test questions?
There could be if you want.
Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. On your...
What is the
Oh, I'm
question?
sorry. That's correct. The question is, did you like history class in high school?
Open the vote. Nobody should need more than 30 seconds on this.
Would you want to demonstrate how it's going to look when it's turned off, the color? When it's,
Yes, let's give that demonstration, please.
Does everybody see the blue in contrast to white? It's a little light, I know, but
All right, closing the vote in 10 seconds. It was more than 30, but. And close the vote, please. And so now you don't see red or green. You see blue if you voted. It's white if you didn't vote. And that is how the clickers work. At this point, does anyone have a question about the clickers? Not the motion, questions first.
Okay, here's a question. How do we know? Dave Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street. How do we know that it's recording the vote the way that we voted?
you would see, yeah.
Well, I see what, I know what you're gonna tell me. You're gonna tell me that this tells me, but how do we know once it's in there, it's recorded the way we voted?
The question is, what, the device says how you voted, but because it's not reflected on the screen, how do we know that what's being recorded is what got voted? And so that's the question.
Correct. What you saw before with the colors is exactly what's happening right now. The soft, I'm sorry?
But we're not gonna see that.
No, you're not,
So how do we know it registers the vote that we actually made?
because it worked twice before. All I did was hide the color, the color coding.
Does this go through a computer system? Is this tabulated by a computer?
As soon as I close the vote, it's saved and locked.
Is it tabulated by a computer? You didn't answer the question I asked. You
It's
answered the
tabulated by the
question.
computer, correct.
Okay, can computers be hacked?
Not this one,
That computer's impossible to hack?
correct. It's not online.
Okay. A
This
computer is
system has been-
impossible to hack. Nobody can program it to change the vote.
Not while I'm here.
Are you always gonna be here?
He'll be here for the whole meeting.
Yes.
No,
Uh,
for every meeting.
My point is, the
We're
system has...
not dealing with every meeting, we're dealing with this meeting.
Can I make a motion?
I will entertain a motion.
I move that we do not.
Microphone, if you would.
I move that we do not use these clickers until we, as a town, approve them in a town meeting from a warrant article. These were just foisted upon us, and we saw a 25% error rate, and I don't trust, computers can be hacked, I don't care what he says. And I'm not suggesting that anybody here is dishonest, although I know different. And somebody in the future could set it up to hack an election. And if we're worried about privacy, let's just vote on a piece of paper and count them, like we've done for hundreds of years.
Is there a second? Who seconds? We have to record it, I'm sorry.
John Given, 107 Pierce.
Thank you. Any discussion of this motion? I will note that this will be advisory. Discretion to use the clickers does reside with the moderator. But if the town doesn't want it, that would probably have a big influence on what your moderator thinks. So any discussion, just come down to the microphone and we'll have public discussion.
Good evening. I'm Bernie Guy. I live at 307 Prospect Street. You can probably hear me without the microphone. Can we do voice votes through the chair? Can we do voice votes, and then if it's close on a voice vote, then do this here? I think would save a lot of time. A lot of times you don't need any count. I mean, you can just do it by voice vote. I think we'll move it right along. I think it will move it right along. And then if it's close again, you can use these here.
That sounds like an option.
Motion? I don't know what that.
You might get invited to make a motion.
Neil Peterson, 67 Malden. My only suggestion is that if we do a vote on the motion on the floor, we do it via voice vote only. Cautiously optimistic about the outcome. Thank you.
I'm not sure I understand your comment. Or, wait, please.
That for the motion currently on the floor, we vote solely by voice vote and not with these clickers, so that we don't have a question about the integrity of the vote on
Understood.
the motion on the table.
Now I understand. Thank you.
Hi, Arlette Peterson, 96 Temple Street. Is there a cost to the town to use these clickers? And what is it if we're being charged a fee to use the clickers?
I think there's money that's been spent. Can anyone answer this question? Town administrator?
The town has already purchased the clickers, so we own them, and there is a cost for the expertise if we have a representative from the clicker company join us for town meeting. We're happy to have that cost if that provides town meeting voters with assurance that that the clickers are the effective way to vote. Thank you.
How much did the town pay for the clickers originally?
Go ahead.
I don't know the answer to that. I apologize. Does the town clerk? You purchased them prior to my arrival.
Apparently about $19,000.
Thank you, moderator.
By maintain, I take that you're asking for the attendance of technical expert. I'm not used to being the go-between quite to this extent. There are batteries to buy, but otherwise no maintenance fee.
Cleena Archibald with 330 Goodale Street. I just want to note that the purchase of the clickers was on the warrant article 2 or 3 town meetings ago and was approved by this group.
Thank you. Further question or comment from the public?
Lisa Nowak, 93 Pioneer, and I've been to enough of these meetings to know that the raise your hand vote is a lot of times, I think it's not fair, not counted correctly, and I'd rather have used the clickers.
Thank you.
Maria Troca, 10 Malden Street. I don't think anyone can see what number is on the back of the clicker, so why wouldn't we be able to just keep it as green and red?
I'm happy to
Go
answer
ahead.
that question. So several years ago, there was an election where some of the major networks started prematurely showing results of the states that, as they were voting, and that ultimately, they felt, changed the ultimate outcome of that election. I think it's human nature that when you start seeing the colors show up, and if you're seeing more green on the screen, then you might vote green simply because you're seeing that's the way the majority is voting, or vice versa. If you see more red, you might start voting with red. Ultimately, I believe that it's the recommendation of Meridia that we don't show the colors simply to preserve the complete anonymity of the vote. That's why we have the clickers, is to demonstrate that nobody can see what you're voting, and your vote would not sway another person's vote.
Thank you. Over here.
Neil Peterson, 67 Malden. Would it be possible, assuming that it doesn't compromise the confidentiality, there are people who are comfortable with potentially compromising confidentiality, to reveal the color after the vote has been finalized, tabulated, and counted? And then you can confirm that the color assigned to your number matches how you voted.
I'm told that that is technically possible.
Do we need a motion to count thusly?
Yes, but I'm not sure it's in order yet.
Very well, I'll wait.
Further questions or comments? All right, there were two proposals that were made. One is, so there's a motion pending, don't use clickers. There's an idea, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but it was, let's do voice votes, and if it's close, then we'll use clickers. Just like if it's close, we would use cards. And there's a third idea that is, use the clickers, leave it anonymous while the vote is open. After the vote is tabulated, then display what the votes were. So, I would entertain a motion. Let me think. Procedurally, you would be proposing an amendment to the motion that is pending.
I believe I have a motion on the floor with a second to not use the clickers.
You do.
Okay.
Mr. Moderator, if I may, to the gentleman who proposed the initial motion.
Yeah.
Mr. Toppin, with your permission, if you'd be willing to withdraw the motion, I'm willing to make my motion that should hopefully address your concerns.
What was your motion?
That the colors would be concealed initially, and then once the vote is closed, the colors would be revealed, so you'd be able to verify that the color corresponds to how you voted as shown on your clicker.
I would prefer that would be a separate motion.
Very well.
So while I was talking secretly with counsel,
I think we need to call a vote on the original motion.
okay? As an advisory matter that I will take due consideration, we will take a voice vote. If you vote yes, or I prefer a yes, please, if you're going to vote yes, to not use the clickers at all. That is the motion that is pending before you, and no one is amending it yet. And so it's therefore not amended. And so if you say yes when we vote, you're saying don't use clickers. If you vote no, then you're saying we want to use clickers. So, all in favor of not using clickers, say aye. Opposed? No. Okay, it sounds like we're going to use clickers. Do you now want to
Mr. Moderator, I move that we vote using the non-color coded voting method prior to voting closure, and then we reveal the color coding post-voting closure using only the clickers.
Who seconds? You get that? Repeat it, please. Teresa Morse, thank you. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? I know we've had a lot of discussion related already. Is there any discussion of this particular motion? Go ahead.
I think town council wants to weigh in.
Any discussion? Come down. You don't need to wait to be called on. No. When you get to the microphone.
Jerry Gomes, 329 Goodale. My only question is just a practical thing. It assumes for the gentleman's motion to be, valid that you could see your number on their thing, right? You want to know, like, your red square was 287, you got to be able to see 287, right?
Correct.
I can't even see, it just looks like a blurry bingo thing. So how many people are going to know where their number is? Well, no, I think half the people can't see their number.
There are some closer seats if someone would like additional
my
assurance.
larger point is how many people can see their number?
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Apple.
David Ashwell, 139 Woodland. Just so people are aware, there is an overflow room where you could be 3 feet from the projector screen, such that if you want to make sure that you can see your number on that screen, whether it be red or green, that overflow room is just outside this main room. Thank you.
That is available for overflow. The moderator has not opened the overflow room and hopes not to open the overflow room. However, it's there. Further question or comment? I will point out that there is an opportunity for mischief. At the risk of suggesting mischief, which I'm not doing, please do not misunderstand what I'm saying. But if someone wants to cause trouble, they might say, well, my vote didn't get registered right, even if it did get registered right. And so there is a danger to doing it the way that the motion proposes. So, that being said, any further question or comment? If you have a question or comment, come on down. Right, but the town clerk needs to record it, and there might be someone in the back who can't hear you because your mouth is pointed this way.
Bernie Gow, 307 Prospect Street. There's no question in regards to voice vote. If it's overwhelming, just get it done rather than do these here. We'll probably eliminate a lot of time and effort of looking over there. I can't see it from back there either. It should be on that screen. But that's my suggestion, motion or whatever. Do voice vote first, and if it's too close, then do the clicker for the same question.
Okay.
I'm willing to modify my motion to adopt the gentleman's suggestion so that it would be a voice vote first, followed by the non-color coded vote with the color coding revealed post-vote closure, if we need to go to the electronic voting method.
Okay. Is there a second on that amendment?
I second.
Ms. Minders was seconded. Thank you. Discussion, please, of the amendment.
I was just going to discuss what you just said, and I don't disagree with that, but I think it's more of a danger to not know what our vote that was actually recorded than what you suggested.
Valid point. Further discussion of the amendment.
Matt Sarabian, 220 Fairbank Street. Regarding the motion, if we choose to do that, which is, up for vote, would that require us to always have support in order to do such a thing at every single meeting? Because that might not be economically viable.
By support, you mean tech support such as we have tonight with Peter? Thank you.
Sano, Act 93.9. Can we vote on the motion to change that motion first?
That's the procedure.
Okay.
And so, although because nobody amended it for you, you amended it yourself. Just a second. Since you amended it yourself, I will allow it to come to the floor and come before the meeting as, especially since it's advisory, as an integrated motion, voice vote, anonymous, did you vote or not, after the tabulation, revelation of how you voted. So that's the motion. It was seconded. That's how I'm going to treat it. Is there any further discussion? I think you made an observation. I didn't hear a question.
Do we actually need support to do that if we didn't want to do that?
Peter, do you know an answer to that?
Well, I think our town administrator should answer. It's not free to have them here, right? So I think that's the question.
Well, I know that.
So if we continue down this path, we would need to hire them for every town meeting to do this. They wouldn't come for free, right?
The answer is no. We would not have to hire them every time, provided our staff was comfortable using the technology that seems to be prescribed from the town meeting voters.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none. A yes vote or an aye vote is we will do voice votes. If it's close, such that if we were to use cards as in the past, we will use clickers instead of cards. The screen will be blue or white, did you vote, did you not vote, after the votes are tabulated to show what the vote was. And we'll run a test on that too. Okay? That's what a yes vote does. A no vote means we're just using the clickers for all the votes. Okay? So all in favor of the voice, anonymous, then revealed, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No.
Let's test those clickers.
I think this might be a reason to test the clickers. It's advisory, so nobody's being disenfranchised here, okay? So, can you open a test question? All right, there's a snippet up here that says, are you a morning? It's not, are you a morning? This is a test question, but it's, do you want to do the three-part thing that we just discussed? Voice, clickers. Yeah, can you say that? I don't want people to be confused, or at least no more confused than they already are. So the question being opened is the same one we just voted. It's voice votes. If it's close, use clickers anonymously, and after the vote is tabulated, reveal what the votes were by clicker.
Mark Frieden, 8 Pinewood Drive. Can you clarify what a yes and a no, which is which?
Yes, I can. A yes vote, just as a yes vote by your voice given a minute and a half ago, 2 minutes ago, is for the meeting, we will voice vote. If it's close, we will use clickers anonymously. And after the vote is tabulated, we will reveal by clicker what the vote was. That's what a yes vote does. If you vote no, then it's just using the clickers with no opportunity for voice vote. Voting is open. Sorry. Please weigh in. 15 seconds. Close the vote, please. Yes. So there are, is that 105 yeses and 75 noes? Motion carries. It's still advisory, but having heard from you that that's what a majority of you would like to do, that's what I'm inclined to do. So, thank you very much for your patience. I know it was long, but it wasn't as long as last time. Article 1, authorization to hear reports of officers and committees of the town. Is there a motion?
There is Christina Pedoni of the Select Board. I move the town. Can you hear? All right. Christina Pedoni of the Select Board. I move the town vote to hear the reports of the officers and standing committees of the town. Do I have a second?
Ms. Mindersma seconded. I know that voice. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Reports.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Dan Riley. I'm proud to say I'm your new superintendent of schools. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome to my first town meeting here in West Boylston. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a brief presentation from our school building committee. And a little bit of background. Our school building committee in town is made up of representatives from elected positions. We have school officials, we have town officials, and we have residents that have volunteered their time to come together and analyze a school building project that we were accepted for back in December of 2024. And I'm sorry for turning my back to this side of the room. So West Boylston was accepted into the Massachusetts School Building Authority program back in December of 2024. That is a statewide grant program that helps towns and communities build new schools. And they reimburse towns and communities for building new schools. It's a competitive grant program. We were accepted into the program because of the need that both of our school buildings present with needing something new for the kids. And so part of that process requires us to bring together a school building committee to review the proposal for the town and also to put information out to the town in order to help inform the public of what the project entails. I want to thank my fellow members of the school building committee because we did a lot of work in a relatively short amount of time. Right now, we're in what's called Module 1, or the eligibility phase, for the MSBA, the Massachusetts School Building Authority. During that eligibility phase, we're asked to bring forward to the town a feasibility study to look at all the aspects of the building project. And I'm going to share some more specifics with that as we get into our presentation. But again, thank you to my fellow committee members. And so a little bit of background again, for anybody who's looking for real detailed information on this. As you can see, hopefully a little bit up on this slide, we did 3 forums for the community. We televised them. And in those forums, we tackled requests that were brought to us by residents. Some go back decades, like for example, on September 30th, we talked about regionalization and some of the aspects of regionalization that were being asked of us as a school building committee. So we went to work, we researched, tried to put together as much information as we could for residents, and then we held the forum and we answered a lot of great questions that were brought to us. We also held a forum on capital planning that really looked at the needs across both of our school buildings and the state of those school buildings. Lastly, we did a walkthrough of Major Edwards. That is the school building, as you'll see in this proposal, that is looking to be replaced. I'll talk a little more specific about the full aspects of the project momentarily. We did a walkthrough of Major Edwards. We looked again at the capital improvement needs of Major Edwards, and then we also informed the participants and the public that watched on TV exactly what the feasibility study that we're proposing tonight in Article 3 entails. So up there is our project website. It's connected to the town website. If you'd like to go on and get more information on any of these topics, it is available to you. It's posted on that website. We also have a contact for our school building committee where we can take questions from the public, and we've been sent a lot of great questions that we've tried to address on behalf of the public in the town. Next slide, please. Okay, so we pulled together, again, for this sort of brief presentation of what we've merged for information over the last few months. We pulled together some of the biggest frequently asked questions across our forums. So with the regionalization forum back in September, the main question from residents was, why can't we explore regionalization at this time, right now? There's two primary reasons that we summarize for you. First, exploring regionalization takes a study. The study in fast track can be about 3 years, but more moderately probably takes up to 5 years. As I said before, our eligibility phase that we're accepted into right now as a town to be reimbursed by the state for a new school project, the window opened in June of 2025 and it closes in February of 2026. So they're on two different timelines. To conduct a regionalization study would not align from a timeline perspective with what we have available to us from the state for the purposes of this grant program. In addition to that, surrounding communities that we could potentially look at for a regionalization partnership, some of them have recently built new schools, and it's unknown if they would even have the capacity for our students with those projects that they've already initiated and or completed. Moving into another question that came up along the way from residents, a popular question, was why can't we build an elementary school instead? Costs, projections were brought up by some community members in terms of that compared to a new high school project. We as a community submitted for this particular project, and again I'll talk about that in more detail in one of the coming slides. This is the project that the Massachusetts School Building Authority requires us to focus on. We can't change lanes, we can't change trajectories and say, oh, now we want to explore doing a different project. They keep you pretty locked in when you get accepted into the program because of all the information that needs to be submitted in advance to get your project approved. And then also a question that came up was with the capital planning needs of both of our school buildings, can MSBA look at just reimbursing us to fix the two school buildings? The answer to that is no. That again would be a completely separate project. It's actually called an accelerated rehab with the MSBA, and they're not taking accelerated rehab projects at this time. They're postponed until potentially 2027 at the earliest. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the purposes of tonight's vote, and we're asking for...
We shouldn't be talking about a vote. This is a report.
I'm sorry.
So if you want to say something before we get to this matter on the article, you'll be invited to present things at that time. But this should be a little bit more of a summary rather than here's what a yes vote does, here's what a no vote does. That's not for this report.
Perfect. My first learning opportunity for town meeting. Love it.
Thank you very much, Superintendent.
That's what we say, continuous learning and education. Just a breakdown of what a feasibility study entails, Mr. Moderator,
That'd be fine.
Okay. So a feasibility study entails looking at a comprehensive assessment before a project begins. It is the overall viability of the project. And included in that is a schematic design of the actual school building project that we would be looking to propose to the community. The feasibility study is also, as you'll see again further into the presentation as well, the only way that a community can really identify what the costs of the project are going to be. So without the feasibility study, we're guessing as a town at what the cost of the project might be and what the impact on taxes might be. Next slide, please. So a couple of other pieces of information about this feasibility study that we wanted to highlight. Many of the costs are eligible for reimbursement. In our town's reimbursement rate right now through the MSBA is just over 57% of the things that align with this particular project. We are asking for the full amount for the feasibility study, but with that reimbursement, there is a chance that we may not use the entire amount because of that reimbursement that will be coming to the town as we initiate different phases of the feasibility study. I just want to make sure I'm not getting into the voting part.
Thanks.
Another important aspect of a feasibility study is it also gives us what's called a 50-year capital improvement projection of what would happen if we essentially did nothing, right? What would it potentially cost our town in order to upkeep the 2 school buildings that we currently have? The reason why that's valuable is because in communities that have built new schools, sometimes they look at the comparison of that 50-year capital improvement plan and they see, wow, that number really isn't far off from what we could potentially spend to build a new school. You can see some of the immediate needs that were identified as well by the SBC and what those have been currently projected at through a firm that came in and did a study of both schools 3 years ago. Thank you to one of my colleagues on the SBC who put together this chart, although it did get a little bit compressed on this particular slide presentation, but this kind of gives a visual overview of sort of like the 30-year projection for the town and where we would be looking to go when it pertains to this particular school building project. Next slide, please. And last, so an overview of this particular project that's affiliated with the feasibility study. This project is to build a brand new 7 to 12 middle high school. The locations to be determined, that's something that would be figured out through the feasibility study in addition to the cost of the project. We would also be looking in this project to renovate this building to become a pre-K through 6 building. So as I said at the beginning of this, Major Edwards would ultimately be the school building that's replaced. That is the oldest school building that we have. It was built in 1937. And so this school building is about 30 years younger than that school building. And so we'd be looking to renovate with this project this school building in order to support our pre-K through 6 students. Again, we will not know what these projects will cost our town without a feasibility study. That's where we get the specifics. And again, certain parts of this project are eligible for our current reimbursement rate that we've been approved for through the Massachusetts School Building Authority, which is over 57% right now. It's like 57.4%. Thank you to Mrs. Butler's office and our town hall people for putting together this chart for residents, which helps to demonstrate from our bond counsel what debt exclusion might look like with some of these projects. So you have the feasibility study, which is estimated out at $2 million, and you can see that that would cost residents approximately $145 per year over 5 years. That's the average household impact. The new school project itself, as we start to pull those numbers together, again, we didn't feel it was safe to estimate. We didn't want to overestimate. We didn't want to underestimate. There's pros and cons to doing both of those things. And without the feasibility study, we just don't know. But you can see for the town of West Boylston what debt exclusions look like when you're looking at $100 million, $21.36 per year over 25 years per household. And then lastly, we went up to $145 million with bond counsel for just over $3,000 per year per household on average over 25 years.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Other reports? And I think the town meeting might appreciate some brevity. No offense, sorry.
It's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information. We'll see some more of it in Article 3.
Hi, my comments are brief.
Thank you.
And I'm Mary Beth O'Day, 41 Winthrop Street in town, and I am a member of the Board of Health, one of the newer members. And I simply would like to reflect and articulate and highlight today on behalf of the board and take this opportunity, again, as I said, for a brief update for residents who may be unaware that as of July 1st of this year, with approval of our select board and the town administrator, we have entered into a new intermunicipal agreement with the towns of Shrewsbury and Grafton. This replaces our former affiliation with the city of Worcester. We will now be recognized as the Central Massachusetts Regional Health Department. This participation will be fully funded by the state's Department of Public Health, specifically the Public Health Excellence, or PHE for short, for Shared Services Grant. The grant has now provided for 4 new employees who will oversee the program. Number 1 being a new regional director. Number 2, a regional registered nurse. And lastly, 2 regional health inspectors to oversee and regulate food, environmental, and housing inspections. The department's intent and goal is to deliver quality public health services that will reflect and demonstrate an increased change, which is important. An increased change is what we are looking for in the scope and the frequency of those services going forward. We have had an opportunity to meet with all the new employees who we have found to be very professional, very experienced, very enthused, and we're looking forward to a lot of good things to happen within the realm of public health services in the town to benefit everyone, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other reports? Over here.
Hi, Vanessa Kuzmanovsky. The Townwide Planning Committee has finally been able to meet, beginning in late July. For quite some time, the committee struggled to reach a quorum, which prevented progress for many months. You'll notice there is a proposed bylaw change on tonight's warrant that aims to address that issue so the committee can operate more efficiently moving forward. Since reconvening, the committee has been reviewing our previous town master plan from 2005, going chapter by chapter to understand the goals and priorities set by the leaders and community members at that time. Our next step will be to identify which of those initiatives were successfully completed, which were not, and importantly, why some plans didn't move forward as intended. In addition to our local efforts, we're working closely with the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, which is using grant funding to assist us with several key updates. Their work includes refreshing our town maps, updating floodplain data, aligning the newly revised open space and recreational plan with the open space and recreation chapter in the master plan, conducting benchmarking with other communities, and meeting with department heads to gather current input. We know a full master plan update will take time to complete, and our long-term goal is to continue to be an advisory committee to help ensure the master plan's objectives are implemented in the most effective way possible. We also plan to provide updates at all future town meetings, sharing how upcoming warrant articles align with the broader vision and long-term goals for West Boylston.
Thank you. Any other reports?
Julianne De Rivera, 148 Goodale Street. SWAT is often asked why trash removal costs so much money. First, there are 2 parts. The curbside pickup of trash is 2/3 of the total cost of our trash removal. And these costs are increasing due to the usual factors like inflation, and then the initial cost of automating trash trucks with mechanical arms, fuel costs, and equipment maintenance. West Boylston is hoping to start with automated trash trucks and standardized carts and toters on July 1st, 2026. Second, the tipping fees are 1/3 of the total trash cost, and they are increasing. Tipping fees are the cost of dumping the trash at a landfill. Landfills are closing and becoming fewer, so the cost of their service increases, as does the transportation cost of trucking or sending our trash out by train. West Boylston has been sending its trash out of state several years ago. Unfortunately, the trash incinerator in Millbury is not accepting any new towns. So what can we do about this? Using pay-as-you-throw bags is the best way to decrease the amount of trash we produce. By diverting textiles, compostable organics, and your recyclables out of the trash stream, you can decrease your trash and therefore the town's trash tonnage by about 60%. Thank you.
Thank you. Other reports? Hearing none. Article 2, authorization to pay bills from previous fiscal years. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. My name is Raj. Good evening. I move the town vote to appropriate from free cash the sum of $1,404.07 and the sum of $10,670 from sewer retained earnings to pay FY 2025 invoice as listed below. From the general funds, Kelly and Ryan Associates, $721.24. Rati Power Equipment, $635.32. And Rati Power Equipments, $47.51, with a total of $1,404.07. This is paid from the certified free cash. And $10,670,000 is transferred from sewer enterprise to pay for Raftelis. So, Raftelis.
Thank you. Just a point of clarification. It was $10,670, not $10,670,000.
Yeah, sorry, $10,670.
Thank you for that motion. Is there a second? Second by, thank you. Any presentation or explanation?
Mr. Moderator, the explanation is printed in the warrant article.
Thank you very much. Town boards or committees, any opinions, recommendations?
Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Any question or comment from the public? Just come on down to the microphone if you have one. Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Yes, that was more than 4/5. So, did I ask for the noes? It sounded unanimous. Did anyone vote no? It was unanimous. Thank you. Article 3. Authorization to appropriate funds for a feasibility study for participation in the Massachusetts School Building Grant Program.
Hey, my name's David Ashwell, 139 Woodland. Motion, I move that the town appropriate the amount of $2 million for the purpose of paying costs of a feasibility study and schematic design for the West Boylston Middle High School, currently located at 125 Crescent Street, West Boylston, Massachusetts, 01583, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, and for which the town may be eligible for a grant from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, MSBA. Said amount to be expended under the direction of the School Building Committee, and to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the Select Board, is authorized to borrow said amount under and pursuant to GL Chapter 70B or any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town therefore. The town acknowledges that the MSBA's grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on need and determined by the MSBA. And any costs the town incurs in excess of any grant approved by and received from the MSBA shall be the sole responsibility of the town. And further provided that the appropriation hereunder shall be subject to and contingent upon an affirmative vote of the town to exempt the amounts required for the payment of interest and principal of said borrowing from the limitations of the taxes imposed by MGL 59, Section 21C, the Proposition 2.5, if you will. and that the amount of borrowing authorized pursuant to this vote shall be reduced by any grant amount set forth in the feasibility study agreement that may be executed between the town and the MSBA.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Pedoni, did you second? Thank you. We've heard something previously. Is there further presentation or explanation that would be helpful for our consideration of this article?
There is an explanation in the handout.
An explanation in the handout. Anything in addition? Town boards and committees.
Yes, Mr. Moderator. The Finance Committee and Capital Investment Board have a little bit more of an extensive opinion to offer on this one.
Please go ahead.
The Finance Committee and the Capital Investment Board have chosen neither to endorse nor oppose this article, and let me explain. Funding the purchase of a new school building represents the town acquiring a new substantial asset, and the calculation of that asset's value extends far beyond the financial analysis for a physical building and its amenities. It's more a question of its overall value to the community. That said, the committee uniformly agrees that some actions need to be taken to address the needs of the schools. So it's important to note what a vote for this article represents and its implications. It's a commitment of $2 million towards the goal of building a new grade 7 through 12 high school. In addition, the town would likely need to finance and upgrade it to the grammar school, which has been envisioned as moving into the current middle high school building, which you heard previously. It is our understanding that this may or may not be included in the proposed study. The impact to the residential property owner's tax bill as outlined by the SBC for this article would be $145 per year for 5 years. You saw that before. And that's based on current estimates for an average home value, absent cost sharing, which would get back from the MSBA for that initial $2 million. So with that in mind, the next phase, presuming a vote for the article, would be the actual school construction. Those costs are estimated to impact the same residential tax bill in the amount of about $3,000 a year for 25 years, or $75,000 to that average house. And this is based on an estimate of 2025 construction figures. It would be expected to be potentially 30 to 40% higher if inflation persists at current levels. So, if you don't see yourself voting in favor of the construction of this new school building, then approving this feasibility study would represent largely an investment of limited value. And again, understand, these are all estimates that we're working from. You really do need a study to get definitive numbers. Also, to be clear on the scope of the study, it covers only the replacement of the middle high school. Additional studies would be necessary for the rehabilitation of the middle school, high school, to be the new elementary school, and additional costs to deal with the disposition of the Major Edwards School. It is also important to note that the town is also in the process of evaluating options for a new DPW and fire station that, if approved, would further add to the town's debt and ultimately the taxpayers' future obligations. But in the end, we favor an investment in the schools. It's simply a question of what form that should take. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Other boards or committees? Hearing none. Question or comment from the public?
Mark Frieden, 8 Vinewood Drive. I don't know how this goes in the middle of discussion, but I'd like to know if we could use the clickers and revisit that vote.
No, that's out of order.
Figured.
Sorry.
Okay.
Ms.
Sandy
Minders.
Minders, excuse me, Sandy Mindersma, 20 Maple Street. I have about 5 questions. They're all quick.
Well, depending on how quick, but we'll probably have you go through the line a couple times.
Okay. Confirming to whomever that the term is really 5 years, because in the paperwork that we have in our packet, it says 5 years and 20 years.
Can someone clarify? Ms. Town Administrator.
That would be at the discretion of the borrowers, which in this case would be the select board and the school. No, actually, I believe that's the school building committee has the funding authority through this article. But whether it's borrowed 5 years or 20 years would be relevant to whether or not the building project was authorized. So if it was the feasibility study alone and the town and town meeting voted not to move forward with the construction of a new school, it's likely that the town would want to look at a 5-year borrowing as opposed to a 20-year borrowing if it could be rolled into a construction borrowing authorization.
Excellent.
Does that make sense?
It does. Thank
Great,
you very much. Can I ask my second question?
That's fast.
When is it for this to be in effect, we have to pass it at town meeting and we have to pass it at the ballot box. Do we have a date for the election?
We're looking at December 9th because we know we need at least 35 days for the select board to provide the town clerk's office with a ballot question, and the election has to be within 90 days of tonight's vote. So that December 9th fits nicely in the middle.
Excellent.
Thank you. Let someone else go, please. Over here.
Mark Hopewell, 25 Lexington Drive. I attended both the public forums that they held, and they were very well done. But I do have a couple of comments and a couple of questions, especially on the regionalization side. Some of the comments I've heard tonight with the presentation that a study would take 3 to 5 years, and it was unknown if any of these other towns had room for us or not. And the last time that I can find that any regionalization committee was actually formed and put together was 2010 when we were talking to Tohoto. That fell through for whatever reason, I don't know. The other comment I heard at these meetings was we just can't go off and start talking to these other towns. The superintendent can't call the superintendent of Wachusett and talk about regionalization. There has to be a formal committee put together. So my question is, in the last 5 years, has any regionalization committee been put together to go off and talk to these other districts, along with, in parallel, looking at building a new school?
Does anyone have an answer for that from the town? Does anyone know? Mr. Superintendent?
From what I've gathered being here for the time that I've been here, no, I don't believe that there has been a regionalization committee put together.
Thank you.
So my question is, and it's too bad that this wasn't done in parallel. The regionalization study should have been done in parallel with the 5 years' work that they did for the school building committee. Then we would have a good idea what was the best option. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if building a new school, I don't know if regionalization. And the reason I don't know is because I don't have enough information. And I think the rest of us, for the voters of the town and the taxpayers of the town, are owed that information before we make a move on this. I can't support this tonight, so thank you.
Thank you. Right here.
Good evening. My name is Michael Coggins. I am not a resident of West Boylston. I live in Worcester, but I serve as the president of the West Boylston Teachers Association. Do I have permission to speak?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I object. He's not a town resident.
Moderator has the
I move that he not be allowed to speak.
You have the authority to run this meeting.
Hang on.
Don't we all like freedom of speech?
How long do you need?
1 to 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I come here tonight to offer the thoughts and opinions of the people that work hard each day to give the students of this town the best possible education that we can. And though I spend my time in the middle school on a daily basis, I have made sure to get the perspectives of faculty and staff at all levels. Unsurprisingly, I am here to report that, on the whole, both teachers and support staff support the construction of a new school building in this town. And the vast majority of those I spoke with support moving forward with this feasibility study, approximately 75 to 80%. We see issues that are plain as day to most people. Classroom space and crowding, especially in some of the elementary and middle grades. Aging facilities and infrastructure in constant need of repair in both buildings. and facilities to provide us, educators, with the spaces and resources needed to perform the necessary services to students, especially those students who need help the most. The demands on educators are increasing, and it is important to have the best possible infrastructure in place to meet the needs of our diverse student population. The list goes on. Both buildings are aging, and with time, things just don't fix themselves. At some point in time, the Band-Aid solution to the problem solving runs its course. Eventually, things can only be fixed so much before a more permanent solution is put into place. Old buildings are just that, old. Replacement eventually becomes necessity. The building we are in this evening needs work. Across the street needs a ton of work. And I applaud those teachers and staff who make the best of the situation as it currently stands. However, I cannot stand here and state that the WBTA is unanimous in that thinking. And it's not hard to see why, as there is a lot at play here and many things to consider tonight. Renovations and rebuilds are certainly expensive, and the tax-paying residents of this town need to be prepared for that. That is simply a fact that cannot be denied. Does moving the elementary school into this building really address the problem, or does it just shift the problem somewhere else? Will putting this money toward a rebuild or a renovation impact future budgets and needs of the schools, faculty, staff, and students? These are just a few of the concerns raised by some of the members, and it is incumbent upon me as their president to share those as well. As I said, the overwhelming majority of our members approve of moving forward, and that is something. But it isn't 100%, and that is something too. And that's for the people here tonight to consider. Though, as Dr. Riley highlighted earlier, completely abandoning this project in hopes of pursuing a brand new elementary school comes with a reset timeline and a whole host of new unknowns. In closing, at the end of the day, the WBTA agrees on one thing. Something needs to happen. Staying put and doing nothing except the colloquial lipstick on a pig is off the table. Take it from us, the people that spend more time in these buildings than anybody else. These buildings have served us well, but eventually big and important decisions come around that cannot be avoided. Everybody in this room tonight must think long and hard before making a decision.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Bring it in for a landing, please.
Okay. How do we all value the education of future generations of the kids of the town of West Boylston? And how do we put those students, along with teachers and staff, in the absolute best position to succeed? Thank you for your time.
Josiah Sansone, 2 Newhaw Circle. I have a couple observations to make first, and then a question. So my observations based on all the information that I've seen so far are, by the way, I have 2 children currently in the school district and 1 more who will probably be in a couple of years. So this is important to me, and I believe that we do need to do something, as the previous speaker said. We need to take action. Unfortunately, I think that the proposal that we're looking at now is not the best proposal for the town for a few reasons. One of those is that it is the building that needs the most help is the elementary and the grade school children, where there's overcrowding, there's insufficient space, and the building is 100 years old, nearly 100 years old. This plan is the longest timeline to take effect for those children, because we have to build a new high school, well, find a new high school, feasibility study, find a location, build it, move the high school students to it, then renovate this building for those students to move into it. So it's the longest timeline for actual change to take effect from when we start. The other thing is that, this school is 7 years old, this building. So even if we renovate it, we're still left with a 70-year-old building and a $15 to $30 million bill, which the state is not going to reimburse us for. And the other reason is that we cannot regionalize elementary school. There are no regional elementary schools in the area. So elementary school has to stay here, and possibly middle school as well. Some of the regional schools are middle and high, and some are just high schools. So we can still explore regionalizing the high school while keeping the elementary school here. So for those reasons, in my opinion, the best option, unfortunately, I think at this time, is to exit the current proposal from the MSBA and submit a new proposal so that we can we will need a feasibility study, but that we can explore building a K through 8 school here in town, and then in parallel, form a committee to explore regionalization for the high school. The high school students can stay here. Moving the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades to the new school will free up more room in this school for the high school students. And the renovations to this school to keep it going in the meantime should be less expensive than retrofitting it for kindergartners, which from my understanding is a significant expense because of the size of the facilities and steps and toilets and all that kind of stuff. They're little. In my opinion, that's a better path forward, and it's unfortunate because obviously this has been a long brewing process, which I believe started back in 2018. I'll wrap up real quick in a second.
Please.
Which is another factor here, that the study that was originally done, my understanding was from 2018, pre-COVID, and is now like 6 years old. So we're operating on pretty old information on maybe what the best solution is for the town. And so, like I said, I think it's unfortunate. I wish we could do this now, but I can't support it in the form that it currently is because I think it's the wrong road to go down. Also, high schools, as someone, I think the superintendent actually brought up, people have brought up that high schools are generally going to be more expensive than building a new elementary school, fields and so forth and things like that. So the other thing I'm concerned with is the likelihood that even if we do the feasibility study, if that would pass. Okay.
I need you to be done.
Yes.
If you
My
want,
question.
if you have more, no, I'm sorry,
Okay,
you've been going 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Give someone else a turn and you can come back and ask a question.
Dave Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street, class of 1983, West Boylston High School. I went to Mixter, Goodale, Major Edwards, and this school. And I will have to say this school looks pretty damn good compared to when I was there. So I have a hard time believing we need to spend probably $200 million by the time they're done. Right now they're saying 140, but Ray, you said probably 40% more. I mean, I'm guessing the police station.
Sorry, you have to direct it through the moderator.
Okay, Mr. Moderator, Ray said 40% more. So I tend to believe him. I consider myself very fortunate, and at the time we had a small class of 90 kids, and from what I understand it's 70 now. And what the town is asking you to vote on right now is whether or not you want to tax yourself an additional $1,000 over this 5 years to pay for this $2 million study. That's, I mean, they're saying $2 million. When they tell us what something's going to cost, it's always 40% more. And so $1,000 out of your pocket over the next 5 years. And then, I mean, if you were paying attention when they put it up on the screen, $140 million, which would increase, which is probably going to be 200, and it's going to increase the average tax bill from $7,000 to 10, 11, 12 for the next 25 years. I mean, I think it's insane to vote yes to spend this $2 million because I don't see, never mind do I not see people voting for it, I don't see how we would ever afford it. I mean, we have half our population is 60 or above. Half the taxpayers are 60 and above. How are they going to, and they're already struggling. A lot of people are struggling to make ends meet. Anyway, I'm a no.
Thank you.
Sandy Mindersma, 20 Maple Street. I have more questions. Mr. Moderator, to the superintendent, through you. He had on his presentation in Article 1 the numbers of $100 million and $145 million, and he said that he couldn't tell us what those were, but he got them somewhere, and I would love some sort of explanation. Does that include reimbursement? Is that before reimbursement? What can Dr. Riley tell us?
Mr. Superintendent, are you able to illuminate us?
Yeah, no, thank you for the question. So a lot of residents were asking us, what will this project cost? And as a school building committee, we took other projects that have occurred as recently as we could through the MSBA and looked at what those overall costs were for those towns and municipalities. Again, we don't know without the feasibility study the exact cost. But what bond council did for us was tiered out what the impact would be if, after reimbursement, the entire project was $100 million. That's what the average tax bill would be increasing by. And then we went up to $145 million just to tear it out for the community so that you could see, depending on what the project cost, where the tiers could land. Again, we're just guessing, but it was something that the community asked us to try to provide information on. So the best we could do was to show exactly right now what the debt exclusion would look like for residents, but we can't pin those to a building cost because we don't know what the building will cost in the end.
Understood. Can I ask a follow-up to Dr. Riley?
Please do.
So the 100 million or the 145 million is what we, the taxpayers in West Boylston, get to pay should we choose to approve this project. That is after the reimbursement from MSBA? Your best guess?
So we don't know until we know the cost of the project. And then you would take the 57% reimbursement, apply it to the total cost of the project, and then that's the debt exclusion that residents would end up paying.
Okay. Asking one more time a different way. Does this mean that you think the school might cost 150 to 200 million for 68 students in a grade?
It just means that we tried to tear it out for the community to give you information on what the debt exclusion could look like at different tiers.
Okay.
Because that's what we were asked to try to do, that we felt like those were the exact numbers from bond council right now, and we felt like that was honest information that we could provide.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have one more question to the Finance Committee for you.
Please, please let someone else go.
All right.
I'm going to hear that later.
Kathleen Benoit, 205 Fairbank Street. So I just have one question, and it was maybe semi-answered. If we did vote to pass this $2 million funding, prior to the next vote of actually building a new school, will we know if we have the grant funding, or do we have to then vote on that assuming we don't have the grant funding and keep our fingers crossed that we get it after the fact?
Mr. Superintendent, you look like you might have an answer to that.
Sure, absolutely. No, it's a great question. We are accepted into the MSBA's grant program now. We're in the eligibility phase, so as long as we fulfill each aspect of the eligibility phase, then we move into phase 2, which is conducting the actual feasibility study. So yes, we would receive reimbursement as long as we continued to follow the steps outlined by the MSBA.
Okay, so if we stick with what the plan is, this plan, we're already essentially approved for the grant.
They have already identified the need within West Boylston, and they have already approved that should this project move forward according to their steps, that they would reimburse us for it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you state my name again?
Please.
Oh, Josiah Sansone, 2 New Haas Circle. I have a question. I believe there was a study originally referenced from 2018, 2019 about what would be the best options for the town, but I don't remember ever hearing anything about it in a town meeting or any other meeting. So my question is, if anybody knows, was that ever presented to the town for public comment before we went ahead and submitted the request to MSBA for this current proposal of a new high school?
Thank you. Does anyone know an answer to that from the town?
Jim Pedoni, 1 Pheasant Hill Run, School Committee Chair. Yes, this was discussed at a meeting. We actually conducted the study through a company called NESDEC. It was on an agenda item, I think, around April or so of 2019. Don't quote me on that, but that was when the study was finalized. It was presented to the school committee. There were several options. This was one of them. It is what the school committee felt was the best at the time. I would also like to add that, nobody showed up for the meeting. We have very poor attendance at our school committee meetings until maybe last year. A few residents started coming a little bit more regularly. But after we do Students of the Month, people leave. So we provide plenty of information. Our meetings are on Stream Live now on YouTube, and we try to get as much information out there as possible, but people don't show up. So yes, it was done. And if you'd like, I have some other information I could answer, but I think I'll try to let everybody else ask and try to do it all at once if you...
I think you've answered.
All right.
Thank you. Next.
Sandy Mindersma, 20 Maple Street. My question.
Hi again.
Hello, sir. My question through you to the Finance Committee. Is there any borrowing that's coming off our tax rolls anytime soon? I'm asking this question because Mr. Brickalt said that we're looking to build a DPW and then another building. And so is there any borrowing that's coming off the tax rolls anytime soon?
Finance. Anybody have an answer for that?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. The answer is yes. And we have staged roll-offs in, I think, 3 or 4 years. We have one large investment coming off, and then a couple of years later, another. It's happening continuously based on the lifetime of the project. So there is a schedule that the town accountant keeps that shows exactly when that occurs.
Okay, great. That's all my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dave Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street. The only point I wanted to make is the state promises us funds in the past, and we don't get those funds. Like, for instance, when they flooded the town, they told us they'd pay for the sewers, and then they changed their mind on that. And from what I understand, they don't send us matching funds for the Community Preservation Act. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't trust the word of the state.
Thank you. Here, then there, then back here.
Bree Mercier, 10 Wood Street. I viewed the forums the school building committee hosted, and I was shocked at the seriousness of the health and safety issues in both schools. They left me wondering why community conversation about students leaving the district has pertained mostly to high school. It also left me thinking, wow, I will not be sending my 2 little ones to the middle high school or the elementary school until a timely plan for construction is in place. During the forums, another resident stated that in the past, feasibility studies have not made it to the table in our town, and decades have gone by without adequate 21st century friendly schools. To the school building committee, through the moderator, my question that I'd like to ask is, if my understanding is correct, a feasibility study is a necessary step for us to move forward with seeking reimbursement and prioritizing our kids as swiftly as possible. Is that correct?
Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, that is correct. We have until February of 2026 to approve funding for a feasibility study.
Thank you. Over here.
Matt Sarabian, 220 Fairbank Street. It's interesting to hear some comments from folks about overcrowding and class sizes in the past and class sizes now. And I have a question for the building committee through the moderator. The timing of this is all kind of interesting because the students that are, as Mr. Sansone said, going through this now in the elementary school are kind of feeling maybe the most overcrowding. And I'm just curious, like, do we have information about which grades are the most overcrowded? Is that a problem for the incoming kindergarten and pre-K? Is that a problem for the 5th grades? Like, what grades are most overcrowded?
Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you for the question. We have high class average sizes in grades 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Thank you.
Thank you. Over here.
Okay.
Clarification, when I say high class sizes, I mean 25 on average or higher.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Catholic Cabin, 3 Phelps Place. I've lived in this town about 46 years. I came here because I came here for the education for the small town. I've seen so many changes in there, but from what I gather, what I've seen, I've done some research. One school is 90 years old, one school is 70. So when those schools were built, those people at the time had to incur the taxes of a new school building, new education. And it seems like nobody wants to put this money forth towards education. The thing with the MSBA has been going on for 5 years, right? How many people know about it? They were rejected twice for it, now they've been accepted into it. Another 5 or 6 years, the kids continue in that elementary school, and if any of you care, go take a walk through it and you'll see how bad it is, and for the kids and the teachers that go to school there. So we can't drop this subject of the education of the youth in this town right now to continue how it is, and if it takes another 5 or 6 years, really, what good is that doing the kids in this town right now. More will come, more families won't come because of what's going on. I ask you to pass it so we can get some ideas on what's going on. I care about the kids in this town, and I've only been coming to meetings for about 5 years, but it's been every other subject except kids. I mean, no new school in 70 years, no new school in 90 years. I mean, come on, the kids are important in this town. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Over here.
Tough act to follow. Jerry Gomes, 329 Gooddale. Just a logistics question. Your comment to someone's
Through the moderator, please.
Yeah. Did you imply that our membership in this funding collaboration thing could possibly pay the $2 million bill for the feasibility study? Did you use that language?
Mr. Superintendent, can you clarify that?
Because that would be, sort of a game changer thing.
Let's let him clarify.
Thank you for the question. Yes, the feasibility study, because it's part of the approved project, is also subject to that 57% plus reimbursement rate. As a town, we're asked to get approved for the entire potential cost, the estimated cost of the feasibility study. But as we go through the feasibility study, each expense that we incur is in line with a 57.4% reimbursement rate during this calendar year, and they say that we will stay right around that for 2026 moving forward.
Immediately?
Thank you.
Immediately upon expenditure or like years later?
That's a fair follow-up question. Go ahead.
Yes, their system of reimbursement has been expedited, and so what happens is as we incur costs as a town, we submit an invoice through their invoice portal, and I'm told by other superintendents that in a 3 to 6 week period, they provide reimbursement to our community.
Thank you.
That's important. Thank you.
Next, over here.
Christine Biscotti, 8 Chino Ave. I have a quick question and then a comment. What is the current class size of each of the classes in the elementary school? So what's the total number of students in the school?
Mr. Superintendent.
In the 3 grades that I pointed out as having high class sizes?
The whole school.
In the whole school, we're roughly around 450 students across Major Edwards.
And so what's the class size in each of the grades?
In each of the grades, I'd have to go to my office and get you that data, but thank you for asking.
And a comment?
Yeah, I attended a couple of the information sessions. I did a walkthrough of the elementary school, and I want to thank the school committee because I do appreciate the work that has gone into putting together everything that they had to do for the bid. But the idea of a new high school sounds nice to me, but we have limited resources available. And after seeing the condition of the elementary school, and also when you take into account the number of students who are going to be impacted in terms of where the money is spent, you're clearly going to have a higher impact if you were to invest in the elementary school instead of the high school. It's going to reach more students. I also think that after doing the walkthrough of Major Edwards, where we went on a cool night and the building was empty, the air quality just felt so thick. And I feel bad for the students and the teachers who are there every day, because clearly that building is on the edge of having some major issues that need to be addressed very quickly. And the timeline of this proposal of having to wait the feasibility study, and then if you even get it approved, the high school to be built, and then finally you're going to address the elementary school, I think it just takes too long. I don't know if anybody's ever heard the expression girl math. I find it offensive as a female, but I've seen it on TikTok. It's the idea where a girl says, oh, that dress is 70% off, so I'm gonna buy it, even though I don't really like it, but it's on sale, so I got a good deal. When really, you would be saving more money if you just didn't buy the dress to begin with. And knowing that we have such limited resources and how much the taxes are gonna have to go up no matter what, I really encourage people to focus on fixing the elementary school. It's the older building. You're going to reach the biggest number of families, the biggest number of students, And that's really just where we should be focusing our resources. I agree with the woman who just spoke. The kids need something. And I think, and again, I wasn't part of the school committee, I didn't have visibility into what they were doing, because I missed it. But we have to be pursuing different avenues at the same time. To only focus on one at a time is what leads you to having only one proposal being put in front of everybody, and then we get the argument of like, well, if you don't do it now, then you're gonna have just lost time. But I would rather focus on where we need the money and where we need to help the students who have the worst conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to make sure that your comments are on something new. I'm not criticizing anybody who's spoken, but we've been talking about this for some time. I know it's an important matter, but try to make sure that you're focusing on something new that we haven't discussed previously during this matter already. Over here.
Corey Wright, 4 Danielian Drive. I just have a question about the MSBA program through you, as I'm on the committee, of just, is this kind of like a one-shot, like where if we get approved for reimbursement, that's it, or could we potentially apply for another building, 10 years in the future? Is that open? Are we allowed to continue to apply after receiving funds?
Mr. Superintendent, do you have any info on that?
So we would have to, if we did not pursue this project as a community, we would end up what they call exiting the MSBA program. We would then have to submit, if we decided as a community that we were going to pursue a different school building project, for example, we would have to resubmit an application to the Massachusetts School Building Authority, and based upon need, they would decide whether or not we're re-entered into the program.
So I think you actually misunderstood my question. So my question is actually, if we approve this and we go through with this current building project, could we, 10 years down the line, would we be eligible for more MSBA funds for another building in the future?
I'm sorry, I misunderstood it at first. Yes, we could absolutely reapply for another building project in the future. There's a timeline that you have to get past first when you are just approved and you complete a new project, but after that, you can apply again.
Do you know what the timeline is?
It's after construction costs have ended and the building has opened. A good example is Worcester Public Schools trying to do their second high school now with Burncoat after Doherty was just completed.
Could I just quick little follow-up on that? Because you mentioned that the current, I don't remember what the program was, but the rehab program is currently on pause. Like, would that be something we could potentially tap into 3 years down the road to work on this building?
I think as a school building committee, what we have talked about is the need for us to really stay together regardless of where this goes and what comes next. To have stakeholders across the town who are continuously talking about the need for our school buildings is important. So as a building committee, we could help engage the public and come up with some of those answers.
Thank you. Next over here, and then there.
Hi, Rich Simorano, 98 Shrewsbury Street. I just want to give a little history lesson to some of you that maybe haven't been here for the last 80 or 90 years. My mother, Jane, graduated from Major Edwards School in 1954. The last senior class of that school, they were preparing to build this building, and the name of this building in their yearbook was Wachusett Regional High School. So the folks of the great citizens of the town back then were told we needed this school because it was going to be a regional high school, and obviously that didn't happen. And so, you know, I'm a graduate of 1986, graduate of West Boylston High School. I appreciate my education. I think we all appreciate what the school board and what the teachers are doing. And I just want to echo that it doesn't always come out the way that they're planned and usually costs more money at the end of the day. So, thank you.
Thank you. Over here?
Yeah, Jim Ryan.
Something new, please.
Jim Ryan, 8 Monticello Ave. First of all, I concur with everybody who said that the priority is the elementary school. And my question is it possible to include replacing the elementary school in the feasibility study?
Mr. Superintendent, that sounds like a question you might have the answer to.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question. So yes, we could explore the rebuilding of the elementary school, but whether or not that's subject to reimbursement would be at the discretion of the MSBA. And right now, what they've said to us is the reimbursement is tied to the 7 through 12 new school building project.
Thank you. I see the wheels turning. Is there a follow-up?
Yeah, I guess my comment would be, I think we should be adopting whatever plan gets us to a new elementary school the quickest. And this plan just concentrating on the high school puts an elementary school maybe 10 years in the future. And that's problematic, I think.
Thank you. Over here.
Josiah Sansone, 2 Nuha. This is actually, I think, Superintendent Riley partially answered my question, but I have a kind of a additional, which has to do with, if we exit the current proposal with the MSBA, do we know how long it would take us to resubmit a proposal for, I think as some people have expressed interest in having a proposal for an elementary or elementary middle school, how long might it take us to resubmit that proposal? I know the last one took like 5 years. I don't know why. I don't know the backstory.
Superintendent? Now, I'm inviting the superintendent to speak. If somebody else from the town has the info, you tell me, but I think he's got it, so I'm asking him.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The answer is no, unfortunately. It is at the discretion of the MSBA. It is based on need. Each year they reset that. An example with this particular approval that West Boylston received, there were 60 applicants across the state, and we were one of the few, I think it was 20 or less, that got approved for a potential new school project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Day.
Thank you. Good evening, State Representative Jim O'Day, 41 Winthrop Street. A lot of great questions here this evening, and it's really great to learn that, you know, our elementary school is doing so well as far as attendance is concerned. Both my kids and all of their friends all graduated through their school system. And there were some kids that they became friends with. There were school choice students as well. So my question is, and it really doesn't have a lot to do with what we're talking about as far as buildings are concerned, but I think I know the answer. But to the superintendent, so we have all these good numbers of students at the elementary school, and there was a time where kids from Worcester and other towns really wanted to come to school here in West Boylston. Why are our numbers in the high school not at the same level as they once were? And I know that we still have school choice, but I also understand that school choice coming to the elementary school is not nearly as easy, if that's the right word, to get into because we have so many students at those levels. So where are our high school kids going? And why are they not staying here? And hopefully a beautiful new school would certainly change that, Mr. Superintendent, I suspect.
Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you for the wonderful question. So as I'm going through right now, I am learning a lot from the community in terms of those decisions that are being made. The school district does have a wonderful partnership with Leominster's CTE program, which helps to provide a very small number of students the opportunity to go and get vocational education. It is an exceptional partnership that provides that opportunity at a reduced cost for the town of West Boylston compared to what would happen if we had a regional partnership. As I gather information from the community, though, what I'm interested to know as well, and I have heard a few things, but it'd be a little premature for me to kind of stamp a this is the problem on it. We have some work to do, and as we continue to do that work, we're going to build up the reputation of the school district to being the world-class school district that it should be. And that, therefore, families will be proud to keep their students here with us.
Thank you. Over here.
Neil Peterson, 67 Malden Street. So just rewinding to spring of 2024 town meeting, we were all here asked to vote on an override, which I think some of the funds were to be directed to the school's budget. I didn't really see any, if my memory serves, it was almost 2 years and I think just over 2 town administrators ago. But if memory serves, there wasn't a lot of vocal support from really any of the elected boards or appointed boards at the time advocating support for that financial commitment. I was really encouraged to hear Mr. Bacot say that the Finance Committee is behind the general notion that that something needs to be done. I think you've heard a lot of that here today. So I know Selectwoman Kuzmanowski had a very thoughtful post about her position on it. I welcome other members to offer, as in their opinion as residents, support, information, etc., but ultimately to take away from this meeting that it seems to me, regardless of which way this vote swings, there is an overwhelming support that the town address this issue, and quickly. Thank you.
Next.
Good evening, Ryan Arruda for Westland Circle. I was a little bit sort of on the fence about where I stood with this. I have a daughter in school, and knowing the age and sort of quality of Major Edwards currently, I really am leaning towards that way more, and it reminds me of the fact that she probably will never see or go to that school should it get built. She'll be already in the high school by then. And it just kind of made me think about that idea that a community plants a tree under whose shade they themselves may not sit, and the importance of that as both being part of a community and a civic duty. And just one other interesting point, the ballpoint pen, copy machine, overhead projector, electric pencil sharpener, school film projectors, mimeographs, and yellow school buses are all younger than Major Edwards currently. So just some perspective.
Thank you. Seeing no further comment, others comment?
Yes, Jim Pedoni,
Something new,
1 Pheasant
please.
Hill Run. I just want to address some of the concerns that people have around timing and thinking that what might be cheaper or what might be quicker. The fact of the matter is this project is fully encompassing a new 7 through 12 building along with creating a new elementary school for our students. This current building has been going through a lot of upgrades and a lot of maintenance over the year to keep it in good condition. It is not suitable for a modern day high school. We talk about keeping students here. A way to do that is to build a modern high school for these students. Our science labs are inadequate, our gyms are inadequate, our learning environments are not very high tech for what we have today. We need new athletic fields. That would be included in this. This is a full community project that would reach many people. Town meeting is held in the school. This building needs ADA upgrades. That would be part of the upgrades to this building for the elementary school as well. You cannot build a school without the MSBA. If we do not move forward, a no vote today potentially puts us at risk of leaving the program and then having to submit something new. If you want something quick, this is the way to do it. This incorporates all of the needs of the district and the community. And without the MSBA, we lose all kinds of reimbursement opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Here, then there.
Hi, my name is Arlette Peterson, 96 Temple Street. We've been in town since 1984, so we have been here a long, long time. But I find we're senior citizens now, and we're getting taxed to the gilt. And you guys keep saying, we need this, we need this, we need this, everything new, and the costs are skyrocketing. And I think the way I'm hearing tonight is that the elementary school is in more need than the high school. And I just am shocked at spending that kind of money for a feasibility study. I can't understand how they can ask that kind of money for a feasibility study. It just overwhelms me, that cost, because that cost is not going to go towards the cost of building. That's on top of building a school, right? So I definitely, if I had a choice of between the the high school or the elementary school, from listening to everybody tonight, I think we definitely need to focus on the elementary school.
Thank you.
And, one more thing.
Go ahead.
We voted about a 2.5 override. We voted for that for the waste a few months ago, okay? Would this also cause another 2.5 override if we decide to do a new school? I mean, how many overrides can you keep having with adding taxes to our bills?
Is that a rhetorical question, or are you asking?
I'm asking, I'm
Okay.
asking.
Does someone from the town know an answer to that?
So the approval of this question in front of you tonight is contingent upon a Proposition 2.5 debt exclusion override. That election would be proposed for December 9th. Should further questions come before this town meeting body for a school construction, that would also more than likely be a debt exclusion override.
So there can be an unlimited number of Prop 2.5 overrides that you can keep charging us, or
As approved by this body.
by this body, the board up there or the town?
By the town meeting.
By the town.
And then by a vote that is at the ballot within 90 days after the vote of this body.
Okay.
And that's the routine.
All right, over here.
Hi, Emily Lehman Miller, 147 Malden Street. I'm a third-generation town resident, a second-generation graduate of the amazing West Boylston Public School System, raising the third generation. My family and I left for 20 years, and I came back intentionally to be here for my family and for my kids. I'm also a class of the 1996, which I just want to call out. There are 5 of us sitting on town boards right now, so I think we should get a shout out for that. So we collectively are committed. I'm committed. I'm also an educator, a public educator for 25 years. And first and foremost, I want to thank everyone from 2018 to, I forget the date because I'm very tired, October 20th, 2025, for all the work that everyone has done to put together the information that we need as a town and as a community to make an informed choice now and to continue to make informed choices in the future.
Is there anything new?
Yes, there is.
Please.
So in response to my colleague, Mr. Pedoni, and to Representative O'Day about making ourselves competitive in the local public school system space, the only reason why I stood up actually is Representative O'Day, who, with all due respect, I believe very strongly that the best way that we can make ourselves competitive is to build a new pre-K through 8 school and to focus on a 9 through 10 school. And this is why. One, we're leveraging our assets. We know our enrollment rates at the pre-K through 8 are higher than they are for the high school. We know that that school, as we've all discussed, is held together by Scotch tape, glitter, and love. And we also know that we need to look at the educational profile and the program of the 9 through 12 school. To the point about regionalization, what happens is if we approve this current feasibility study and we move forward with a 7 through 12 school, it shuts down our regionalization options for 9 through 12 for up to potentially a decade. And one of the things that's not in here, and is actually the reason why I'm standing up, is that Chapter 74 in career technical education programs were not included. It's okay, we're not included in the plan for this. And I feel like that limits our ability to be competitive regionally for an extended period of time. And so what that means for other folks is, for instance, we're a right to farm community. There's a huge need and desire for agricultural career technical education programs in the region. We have kids traveling an hour or 2 hours away to go to school. In the event that we could relook at and take the time to put together a building application for a pre-K through 8, explore regionalization, we can also explore what the impacts would be if we pursued career technical education in our 9 through 12 schools, which would make us competitive. It would bring in other schools and other folks to our town. That's one example. It's not a guarantee in any way, but it's just an example of how we're shutting down opportunity, both in terms of regionalization and both in terms of like spending the time that it needs to take. How are our 9 through 12 programs competitive? We know our pre-K through 8 are because the kids are staying.
Thank you. Over here.
Hello. Tara Finn, 48 Yorktown. I just want to, please forgive any incorrect terminology or words, but make a motion to end discussion and vote on the topic.
Thank you, I hear you. Because I think we're near the end, I'm going to not rule on the motion. We'll put it up. 1 and 2.
Hi, Mark Hopewell, 25 Lexington Drive. I think when Mrs. Peterson was talking, I heard two different terms. I heard Prop 2.5 override, and I heard debt exclusion. So is this a 2.5 override or a debt exclusion? And can somebody explain the difference between the two for everybody? Thank you.
Ms. Administrator?
A debt exclusion override, the override of the taxation ends when the debt is paid off. So, for example, your senior center building, when the debt that that the town approved, when that is paid off, that rolls off. We heard a question earlier about whether or not there's debt that is rolling off the tax rate. That would be an example of that. A Proposition 2.5 override, which is what you approved at the May town meeting, that is permanent until a vote of this body were to vote to reverse that. So a debt exclusion is for the lifetime of a bond or borrowing. A straightforward debt exclusion, a straightforward 2.5 override is perpetual. Does that make sense? Yeah? This would be a debt exclusion. That's where we were talking about the span of a 5-year bond versus a 20-year bond. And thank you for the opportunity to clarify. Council pointed out that I only got half of that question correct. The authorization for the borrowing is that of the select boards. And then once the borrowing authorization was in place, the expenditure would be under the school building committee.
Thank you. Here.
Mike Connors, 393 Lancaster Street. My wife and I moved to town in 2017, and one of the big reasons we chose to move to West Boylston was because of the school system and the reputation of it. And I also have the privilege of serving on the school building committee as a resident member, and I don't take that position lightly, and I hear everybody's opposition, and I agree and disagree with many points, and everybody's made a lot of really good points about why we shouldn't move forward. But I personally, what everybody wants, I think, universally, is a school system that we can be proud of. And I've agonized over this decision up until 45 minutes ago, personally, whether to vote yes or no on this. And personally, I'm a yes, because I do ultimately, at the end of the day, agree with Mr. Pedoni that this proposition is all-encompassing, and leaving the MSBA program right now, for better or for worse, is a risk. We may be approved if we apply for an elementary school next year. We may not be approved for 5 more years. And like it's been stated, building a school without MSBA approval or support doesn't seem feasible at all. So I do feel like the current ask for the feasibility study is the best path forward to get a school system that we can all be proud of for years and years going forward.
Thank you. Last commenter.
Kathy Cabin, 3 Phelps Place. I just have a question. If you could just, because I don't have the papers, just for the cost of the feasibility study to the town, could somebody just tell me what just the cost of that is?
Mr. Superintendent, if you would, please. No more comments.
Per year, what will people be expected to pay for 5 years? That's all.
Sure, yeah, thank you. So the estimated cost at $2 million, again, that is estimated that the entire cost of a feasibility study without reimbursement. Okay, so if it was not reimbursed, the $2 million over a 5-year period would cost the average household $145 per year.
Okay.
If we use less than the $2 million because of our reimbursement rate that gets applied to many aspects, all aspects of the feasibility study, then that cost per household decreases over the 5-year period.
Okay, so 145 per year. for
Would be if
5
we
years.
used all $2 million.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, please, 2 quick questions that will determine my vote. Is the Board of
We've
Select...
been talking about it for a long time. Is this really new? Is it really new? It sounds like not. Let's vote. Please have a seat.
Is the Select Board unanimously in favor of Article 3? Can I have a show of hands?
No, you cannot. Please have a seat.
We can't.
No. Please have a seat. We're done. We're done talking. We're going to vote. All in favor of Article 3 is moved. Without shouting, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Get your clickers out. Because I deem that the voice vote is not safe to call as a voice vote, we're going to use the clickers. Your vote is the same. You voted yes with your voice. Go ahead and vote yes with your clicker when we open the vote. And if you voted no, then vote no with your clicker. Okay? Open the vote, please. Ten seconds. Time. Close the vote. $94, 84. I'm advised this is a 2/3 majority. That is not 2/3. The motion fails because it did not get 2/3.
May I?
Go ahead.
David Eshel, 139 Woodland, and a member on the school building committee. Just wanted to make sure that we're fully aware that that building committee is going nowhere, and we will be in town for the long haul. So see you all next meeting.
Article 4, authorization to create a solid waste enterprise fund. Is there a motion?
Norma Chanis, 42 Prescott Street, Chair of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. I move the vote to accept the provisions of MGL C44, Section 53.5 of the Massachusetts General Laws establishing waste management as an enterprise fund, effective fiscal year 2027.
Is there a second? Mr. Frieden seconds. Thank you. Explanation or presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Go ahead.
Please bear with me. I will talk as quickly as possible and we will fly through these slides. For those of you wondering why this is being brought forward, it was after the discussion that we had here in May where we talked a little bit about, and by a little bit I mean a lot, about the increase of the trash costs and what the impact of those costs are to your general budget, and how we would try to explore opportunities to make sure that we do not every time a new contract comes up, bring the question back to you asking for another override for trash disposal services. This may or may not be the answer to that question. However, I did promise you that I'd bring you back something, so here is that something. The idea is that we may, I'm sorry, Faye, could you go back? So this makes the trash service more equitable. Right now, when it's being paid through your property taxes, you are all paying for this service regardless of whether or not you use it. Some of you may not live in a single-family home, or you may have another alternative for your trash disposal, and you may not use the curbside. However, through your property taxes, you are paying for a portion of it. And again, going forward, next slide, this just makes sure that we, by removing it from the general fund, that we are reducing the amount of a projected deficit that we've been talking about. We know that when we met in May, we said that that 725 was sort of an incremental override request. Moving the trash out of the budget does lessen the likelihood of another override next May. And then finally, this is a dedicated funding source, and it protects the service from further budget cuts or override debates. Basically, when it becomes an enterprise fund, we are not talking about it here at town meeting, whether or not it's being funded under the levy or not. So just a quick review or overview of what our trash expenses look like from FY27 going forward. You can see that they are incrementally increasing. We have a contract for the collection that is with the Republic Services. That was a contract that we were able to sign in June. That is only I think Julianne said what it was 60% of the actual cost of your trash services. We'll look at disposal. So your collection costs will rise between $454,816 to $526 in the next 4 years. Your disposal costs per ton are moving from $86 per ton to $130 per ton in the next 4 years. And your pay-as-you-throw, that is the cost of the purchase of the trash bags. We've plugged in a 5% escalator for that. These are the estimated costs. If you calculate that 86, 125, 130, and 135 out, and if we keep our trash disposal per ton about average, those are your disposal costs. The reason that we are continuing to move forward with the pay-as-you-throw program is because we know it's the only way that we will really moderate the amount of trash that gets thrown away. We have done some research and have learned from other communities that have moved away from their pay-as-you-throw program that their tonnage has increased between 40 and 60% per year. And if your cost per ton is $86 and then you're going to be paying $130 per ton, you can see where there's a strong incentive to keep the tonnage as low as possible. We know that we have a one-time cost that is associated with our current contract. The contract that we have with the Republic Services requires that for July 1 that the town provide and use the carts. That is a cart for your trash and a cart for your recycling. The estimated purchase price of those is about $350,000. We would procure them off the state bid list and do the best that we can to keep that as low as possible, but that's a one-time operating expense that was contractually obligated. And then we would have some billing setup costs. We propose to run this through the sewer department, and any new utility bill would go out with your sewer bill. That is the cost of moving that operation and getting that set up. Just a little bit more about cart costs. The 96-gallon recycling cart, they retail for $60 a piece, and the 64-gallon solid waste carts retail for $55 a piece. We are looking at some grant funding to offset the cost of the recycling carts by $15 a piece, but we have to apply and get approved for that grant. We put an escalator on the indirect costs for billing and salary, just for transparency's sake. So the new utility bill from the town, as proposed, would be a $90 cost to residents for every quarter. Breaks down to $30 per month. Your sewer bill goes out quarterly for those of you who are on the sewer service. That's why we're proposing it as a quarterly. The annual cost obviously averages out, or comes out to $360 per year that you would be paying for your trash services. We did a cash flow analysis to show that that at $30 a month, $90 a quarter, the program remains solvent through the 5 years. We do show a deficit the fourth quarter of the fifth year, but we propose that that could be covered through retained earnings. And I think that what is helpful to know here is that with that cost, we are not projected to have to raise the cost for 5 years. So if we stand here today, that doesn't mean that the world doesn't take, you know, a topsy-turvy move, and you know, the contracts are built so that if our providers see escalators in gas or other variables, they can increase our costs, which means we would have to pass that along. But as you can see, it does remain solvent with the pricing that we have put forward, including the escalators, through the 5 years. How this program would roll out in the next couple of months, the select board as your policy makers and as your fee setters would have to undertake the process of setting up a policy. This is a very common practice throughout Massachusetts, so there's lots of examples of how other towns provide this program, and the board would be looking at all of those different opportunities to make sure that a policy that we put together best suits the needs of the residents of West Boylston, and then they would have to take and set that flat user fee. Again, proposing $30 a month, $90 a quarter. We would begin an education program through mailers and social media and the website. After January, we would look at doing a preliminary mailing with some opt-out details. We would run this program as an opt-out, which means that if you decided that you did not want to participate, then you could notify us of what of that opportunity, and you would provide us with what your alternative plan would be. For example, if you were going to hire your own contractor to pick up your trash, you would have to let us know what that licensed hauler's name and agreement was, or if you were going to use another, and you were going to use a, I guess, alternative transfer station opportunity, but you could let us know what that is, and we'll opt you out of the program. And then we would create that resident manifest, provide it to the cart procurement company, and in May and June, they would start getting those carts out to you as the homeowner, and the program would begin July 1st. And again, regardless of whether or not we move forward with the enterprise model, we are contractually obligated to begin using carts for July 1. So the takeaway would be that about 90% of these slides are not relevant, but the one slide that would be is that come July 1, our contract says that we're going to be moving to carts, and we'll revisit this question in Article 5 when we talk about paying for the carts. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'll do so from back up on the stage. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Town boards and committees. Any comment or recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. Finance Committee has an opinion with a little bit of detail.
Go ahead.
The committee has chosen to endorse this article, but with some explanation that I think is quite important.
Go ahead.
If the town approves this article, it's approving the formation of the trash enterprise, nothing more. It's really important you understand that. In the coming 6 months, as the town administrator described, policies and procedures would be developed as to how the enterprise actually operates. These policies will be the product of the town administrator, select board, and SWAT team working in concert. Ultimately, the governing body of the enterprise, the select board, would be responsible to approve the procedures and establish rates. So your opportunity to feedback will be through the select board and their meetings on the subject. So the only future public input would occur at the spring town meeting, presumably we're on schedule for the spring town meeting, and then annually thereafter to approve the budget for the enterprise. So this would be done just like we do right now for the sewer enterprise. It has its own standalone budget. We voted as a separate warrant article. Voting for or against this article has no impact on the requirement that the town purchase these trash carts. So it'll have no impact on the next article, Article 5, for that fund transfer. Voting against the article will likely lead to an override request at the spring town meeting, or alternately severe cuts in staffer services. The estimate of $800K operating deficit as projected at the spring's town meeting still seems to be the case if trash remains in the town's operating budget. It would not cancel the trash service, simply return it to the general fund. Finally, there are many issues that the team to develop the policies and procedures will need to address. Among these open questions, the Finance Committee recommends pursuing a path with strong disincentives to opt out of the program. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Any other town boards or committees have a recommendation or comment? Hearing none. Public comment or question?
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Moderator. I'm Bernie Gowie, I live at 307 Prospect Street. I have a couple of questions, and I don't know, through you,
Sure.
Mr. Moderator. And I apologize if I misread something, or I didn't understand something, but does each person in town, each homeowner in town, on their tax bill, a certain portion of that is built in for trash removal?
That's a question?
Yeah, is it a certain portion of your tax bill is for trash removal or a set fee?
So the answer to that briefly is yes. When you vote the budget at the May town meeting, trash services are included in that overall budget.
Through the chair, through the moderator.
Go ahead.
If you decide to opt out of, I'm just using a hypothetical, if you decide to opt out of town trash collection and do it, hire your own, is that portion, whatever portion it is, taken off your tax bill?
It is not.
Why? Why? If you're charging me, hypothetically, if you're charging
Hang on, the question is
Okay,
pending.
okay.
Let's wait for an answer, please. Go ahead.
So when the town puts together its budget for the May 2026 town meeting, trash services, let me back up. If this article is successful and you create the enterprise fund, when the town puts together its FY27 budget, the trash services will not be included in that. So nobody will be paying for trash services through the general fund budget.
I understand that. However, that budget, the next fiscal year, will be exponentially higher, obviously, than the one for this fiscal year.
Correct.
And built into that is the trash expense for 2026. So you're just carrying that over for the people. So what is the incentive? What is the incentive to do your own trash removal? You charge, you can look at it either way. They're still being charged even though they're not using it.
Okay, go ahead.
So that's the way it is now, that you are being charged if you're not using trash services.
Does that sound fair?
Well, that's why I'm proposing an enterprise fund.
Okay, so you're proposing an enterprise fund that takes trash removal, I could be misunderstanding, trash removal out of the general budget.
Correct.
So the money that went into the general budget for the trash removal, okay, is just carrying over to next year, but you're not using it.
I'm not using it for trash removal. I would be using it to cover the expenses for all of the other services and town expenses that we project to increase by.
And you don't need approval for that.
That's what tonight's meeting is for, and this is what this vote is for. So if you vote for this, and again, this is an option, this is something that I said in May that we would look at a way to make it so that we don't have to continually talk about trash as part of your general operating expenses. The FY27 budget that you would vote on next May would be something that you would be voting on, so you would be part of that discussion, but trash services would not be in that budget.
So again, when you do the 2027 budget, will it show, say for instance, hypothetically, nobody has an answer for me of how much, what percentage or how much specifically each household is paying. So say it's 5%, hypothetical, through the chair, through the moderator. The next year, 2027 budget is still going to include that 5%, even though it's going into an enterprise fund. So I'm using the word, it's going to be a slush fund, is what it's going to be.
No, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Administrator.
No, sir. It will not be a slush fund. We are anticipating cost increases for other town and municipal services that would exceed the 2.5 limit that we are allowed to appropriately raise your taxes. What I'm trying to do is avoid another override, which is what is inevitable if we keep trash services in the general budget. I'm just trying to reduce the general budget by enough so that we are not coming back for another override.
I understand that. So, looking forward, if you can, if we all can, when you go for the 2027 budget and you bring it before the town, are you going to put a line item on it in regards to, say for instance, hypothetically again, because nobody has an answer for me, of how much this town spends on trash for all the households, or how much household, are you going to, say it's $1 million, are you going to put a line item on that in the town budget when we try to approve it as to where that $1 million that was for trash collection is going to go?
Sure.
Ms. Administrator, thank you.
Yes, we could do that.
I would think that you should do that, because I certainly want to know where my $500 or $300 a year, if I decide to opt out, okay, is going. And I think everybody else does.
Let's let someone else go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bond. Thank you.
That's very courteous.
David Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street. I would like to comment on Mr. Ashwell's outburst at the last question.
I'm sorry, that's...
I thought it was totally inappropriate and out of order for him to come out.
It's out of order to bring it up now as well.
Threaten the taxpayers of the town.
You're out of order.
Okay, as far as Article 4 goes, I would like to commend Heather for, she was thrown into a really lousy situation last May, and I'm sure it was I know it was very stressful on her. And I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I would support it, but this is, you're not backing it out of the budget. This is just another tax increase, basically. So you're going to give us a tax increase by having us pay for our own trash, which is presently in the budget, or we're going to get another 2.5 override, which may or may not pass, because I think the town might be getting tired of that. But I could support this if you decreased the budget a similar amount, but you're not doing that, so it's just a tax increase. So I'm a no.
Thank you.
Gary Peterson, 435 Prospect Street. I just want to guarantee that I'm not going to be mandated to participate in this program. I got up here during the sewer enterprise, and I was told that I would never be mandated to hook up to sewers, and lo and behold, I was. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to have to go through that again. That was one question I had that I have had answered, but I want to make sure with everyone here that that's properly addressed. And the other question I had was, have you looked at a transfer station? Way back in the day when the first override was done for trash removal, we've had 2 overrides now to pay for trash removal. Transfer station was an option at that point. Now, many years have gone by since that first override. However, there wasn't going to be an override if we decided to do the transfer station because it was cheaper. And looking at the cost now, most of your costs are in transportation, not the actual tipping or dumping of the product. If you can answer those, that'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I'll answer the transfer station question first. One is that a transfer station would be absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, like many things, I believe that the cost of that, the creation of a transfer station would be in the tens of millions of dollars, and it's out of reach proportionately for what we're trying to accomplish. As far as the mandatory, I'm going to throw this question to our town council. It has come up several times in conversation, and at the risk of messing it up and not saying it correctly so that we all hear it correctly once and for all, Darren Klein from KP Law.
Good evening, Darren Klein, through the moderator from KP Law.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Nice to see everyone. So SOAR enterprise falls under a different statute, and it is mandatory. You can't opt out of a SOAR enterprise. However, for trash and recycling, it is the opposite. You will have the ability to opt out of trash and recycling. So it's a different statutory framework.
Thank you. Over here.
Yeah, Jerry. Just a point of clarification.
Sorry, name and address if you would, please.
Jerry Gomes, 329 Goodale. Point of clarification, I think people are misunderstanding, if I may. When the budget rolls over next year, that trash little line item's going to be there. But the following year, if we vote to approve this TSAP acronym, whatever the acronym is, if you go forward, the year after, where we're doing the $30 per quarter, that year after, there's not going to be the line item in the town budget, which is what the gentleman kept saying and saying and saying and saying, and then the gentleman after him said it. So this rollover year, it will be in there, and you're going to do your due diligence and use it for a good purpose to keep other costs down. But the following year, if we vote in this little trash pay per quarter thing, then there will not be a line item in the budget going forward for
That sounds
trash.
like a question.
That's a question.
So for clarification, it would be $30 a month or $90 a quarter. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. That's the estimated cost today. It is FY26, your current budget that you voted last May. Those trash costs are in that budget.
Right.
Should we be successful in passing this tonight, when we develop the FY27 budget, it is proposed and it is assumed that trash expense costs, as we looked at on the screen, would not be included in your FY27.
Emphasizing the word not.
Yeah.
To
However, to the gentleman's concerns, you would see an equal to, or hopefully equal to, amount of increases in other line items that would be equal to the reduction of this cost of the trash. So if I remove $700,000 of the FY27 budget for trash expenses, it's likely other services and other expenses will increase by proportional amounts.
Well, but that's a battle for a different day.
It is a battle for
And that's true whether we vote for this.
It is a battle for a different day, but I just want to say that you're all right.
But that's true.
Every one of you is saying it correctly.
Right, but that's true whether we vote for this little thing or not, right? I mean, that's like saying
And I love the fact
inflation
that-
is going to happen, something's going to go up 2%. That's not dependent on voting for this little trash
And I love
$30
the
a
fact that
quarter
it's a little
thing,
trash thing.
right?
I appreciate that.
Right?
Yeah.
See what I mean? It's like saying.
I haven't slept in weeks because of this little trash thing.
Right.
Thank
It's a
you.
little bit like saying, Patriots Day is going to come whether Christmas
Thank you.
comes or not.
Thanks very much. Over here.
Dave Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street. And this isn't really a little thing. Benjamin Franklin said, beware of small expenditures, little leaks sink big ships. This is not a small thing, and they're going to keep the budget the same, probably increase it 5%, and make us, or 2.5%, but try to get more, and they want us to pay $350 a year on top of that. So it's a tax increase, no matter how you look at it. I'm not misunderstanding.
Thank you. Over here.
Hi, Paul Berry, 39 Pine Arden. I'd like to move to end discussion and go for a vote.
There's one guy behind you who was getting up before you said that, and you'll be the last, sir.
I've got two questions. Kevin LeClaire, 95 Newton Street. You talked about the opt-out situation. When you were over here, you sounded like somebody had to be approved to opt out.
So in order to opt out, you would have to verify with the town. You would have to go on record with that opt-out form what your alternative trash removal or trash collection service will be. The Board of Health approves about 8 permits for other haulers, and that list is on their website. And if that was your choice, you would have to identify which one of those haulers you've contracted with. The Board of Health has regulations that requires that trash be collected, or that you have an alternative method of removing it from your property.
So is your explanation the only alternative method is to hire an alternative trash company?
Or otherwise demonstrate how you would meet that requirement.
So could for instance, be take it to your place of business and dispose of it there?
If you could identify that that is a reasonable option for you, yes.
Okay. Second question, regarding the 2.5 override that was approved for this, what happens to that status now that the trash will not be into the general budget?
There is no change of that status. MGL requires that the first year of your override, so if you say that you're going to ask for an override for trash services, the first year of the MGL requires that you use it for that service, that you meet that standard. After that, that sum is rolled into your general fund, to your annual tax levy, and it is not, we don't have to commit it to a certain program or service.
And this was perpetual from the previous town meeting?
That was a straightforward Proposition 2.5 override that is not removed. The only way that you can remove it or reverse it is by another town meeting vote.
Okay.
And ballot.
Thank you.
If I can just offer one point of clarification, it's been brought up a couple of times. The override that we passed in the spring was not to specifically fund trash. We had an $800,000 operating deficit, $725. The override paid for that operating deficit. When we had public discussion, the focus became trash because it was something that would have been easy to remove from the budget. So people may associate it with the trash, but that is not what the override was for. I think it's really important that everybody understand that.
Thank you. The article before us is Article 4, to establish, to create the Solid Waste Enterprise Fund. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. The ayes have it. Article 5, authorization to modify fiscal year 2026 appropriations and other necessary adjustments to the fiscal year 2026 budget. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Archibald. Is there a motion for Article 5?
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate $171,700 and transfer $350,000 from certified free cash to fiscal year 2026 appropriation accounts as listed in the motion handout.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sorry, it sounds like I cut you off, Mr. Ashwell.
Second.
So, in the description on line A for education expenses, to raise and appropriate $152,500. In the inspection of other charges, raise and appropriate $1,200. In the facilities management purchase services, raise and appropriate $10,000. Elections purchase services, raise and appropriate $8,000. Trash other charges, certified from free cash, $250,000 for total appropriations of $521,700.
Thank you. Any further presentation or explanation? Hearing none. Town boards and committees, any recommendations or comments?
Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Question or comment from the public?
Lisa Nowak, Pine Arden. What is the trash other charges? Is that the carts?
That is correct.
If people already have carts, do we need to get new ones?
Yes, you do.
Well, what are we going to do with the old ones?
Right here.
Mr. Moderator, Sandy Miners, 20 Maple Street. Question, reading the explanation of the article, it says that the town received its certified new growth of $516,000, higher than expected and exceeds the $75,000 budgeted, largely due to an unanticipated $25 million utility improvement by New England Power Company. Do we anticipate any future ones like that?
Ms. Administrator.
Is that rhetorical?
No.
Oh, I wish. Unfortunately, I think that this was a one-off. It was a really wonderful one-off and a nice opportunity, but no.
Will they be paying property taxes on a regular basis going forward?
They continue to pay property taxes. This was a new growth opportunity where they did $25,000 worth of improvements to an existing existing facility.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Further question or comment from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 6, authorization to appropriate funds for capital improvement purchases. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I move the town vote to appropriate $501,000 from the Capital Investment Trust Fund and $53,000 from certified free cash to fund capital expenditures to be voted as separate appropriations as listed below. A, flail mower attachment from the Capital Investment Fund in the amount of $191,000. A dump truck with plow assembly from the Capital Investment Fund in the amount of $310,000, and a rebuild of a wall in the cemetery for $53,000 from free cash.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you. Any explanation or presentation on this?
The explanation is presented in the warrant. I will just note, as it says here, the intention is to replenish the funds from the Capital Investment Fund to their current levels after this article is passed.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment?
Finance Committee and Capital Investment Board recommend approval.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Any question or comment from the public?
Lisa Nowak, 93 Pine Arden. I Googled flail mower attachment, and the average price seems to be about $10,000. I don't know what there's $191,000 is.
Is there someone who could illuminate the town meeting body on this, please?
Yes, this flail mower attachment.
I'm sorry, can you identify for the
Sorry,
record?
Tom Degnan, DPW Director.
Thank you.
The flail mower attachment, it goes on the front end loader. It reaches out about 24 feet. And it basically, with that piece of equipment, it'll be a lot more safe to utilize out on the roadways. It'll help enhance basically doing our operations. Right now, we do it with smaller vehicles. We have a person that's out there just about the whole summer. With this piece of equipment, what we'll do is we'll cut in man hours. We'll be able to utilize this personnel to go into another part of the operation in highway. We'll cut it down to about a month and less. And that, the flail you're looking at is a smaller piece. This one's quite big. Is that good enough?
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator?
Go ahead.
I think the operational term is commercial grade.
Thanks very much. Appreciate the clarification.
Dave Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street. Mr. Moderator, what are we getting for $310,000 in a dump truck?
Mr. Moderator asks if there's someone from the town who knows.
Back again, Tom Degnan, DPW Director. 310 for a dump truck. It's a Mack truck, stainless steel body with all attachments, the rear discharge. It will replace one of our 20-year-old vehicles that is presently sucking up all our repair money. And the 310 is extremely a great price. As time has been going, everything's been going up $100 grand for all these vehicles. This one we got for 310. Our other vehicles are 308, 306. I've got a couple bids for like close to 400, 475. So 310 is very reasonable.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you get an engine.
Bernie Dow, 307 Prospect Street, through the chair to the DPW Director, yes. I'm confused. It says attachment, the flail mower attachment. I think I know what the flail mower is. It has a hydraulic arm, and they do it along the...
It comes with a pony motor.
It comes with a pony.
And it attaches to the bucket on the front end loader.
It attaches to the... So it goes... So you move by the front end? Is this one that reaches over guardrails?
There's a pony motor.
Through the monitor,
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Director.
There's a pony motor that goes right to the front of it, and then it has the arm. So you'll have the operator that utilizes the front end loader. He'll be going forward, and he'll have a boom out there for like 24 feet. And this thing will reach up, and going down Thomas Street.
Do tree limbs and stuff?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was a good reason to do that. Our other apparatus couldn't cut that high, can't do anything, so we have to call in the
Now,
light company.
I have to say, for the 310,000 sounds like a bargain. The 191,000 through the moderator does not sound like a bargain.
No,
Thank you. That's a comment, not a
It'll
question.
save a lot of time, man hours. It'll
Okay,
break everything down.
Thank you.
Plus repair costs.
Okay.
That's
Thank
what
you.
they say.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Further question or comment from the public? All right, hearing none, these are moved as separate appropriations. So we will vote for A, the flail mower attachment first. And two-thirds vote is required on this. So your moderator appreciates unanimity unless you want to use that clicker. All in favor of Part A, the flail mower attachment for $191,000, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. The ayes have it. That's more than two-thirds. Part B, the dump truck with plow assembly for $310,000. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That's unanimous. That's more than two-thirds. Part C, cemetery wall rebuild for $53,000 from free cash. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. That's more than two-thirds. Article 7, authorization to transfer funds to the Capital Investment Fund. Is there a motion?
I move the town vote to raise and appropriate $195,891 and transfer $305,109 from certified free cash to the Capital Investment Fund as listed below, in the amount of $195,891, raise and appropriate, and $305,109 for free cash.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded, Mr. Ashwell. Thank you. Any explanation or presentation on this?
As listed in the packet.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment?
Not a surprise, Capital Investment Board and Finance Committee endorse this article.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Any comment or question from the public?
Where does the money come from?
Go-
Dave Toppin, 160 West Boylston Street. Where does the money come from?
Where does the money come from? Is there someone from the town who can answer that?
I'd be happy to. 195,000 of that is coming from the new growth figure that we just discussed, the $516,000 that was certified. You have a financial policy, F10, that states that if a certain amount of certified new growth is certified, then a portion of that must go to stabilization. If stabilization is less than 5% of your total levy, your stabilization, which we'll get to in 2 more articles, is at 7%. So by virtue of the policy, the next transfer must be made to your capital investment fund. So that 195, that's a long way of saying, is there's no other place for it to go because of your policy. And then the remainder of that is coming from your certified free cash.
So it's basically a transfer from the stabilization fund, is that what you said?
No, it's a transfer from the certified new growth and a transfer from your certified free cash.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Further question or comment from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 8, authorization to appropriate funds for the OPEB Trust Fund. Is there a motion?
David Ashwell. I move the town vote to transfer the sum of $100,000 from certified free cash to the other post-employment benefit trust fund.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any explanation or presentation?
There is an explanation of the article in your packet.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment on this?
Finance Committee recommends approval.
Any others? Hearing none. Questions or comments from the public? Here.
Bernie Dow, 307 Prospect Street. All I see is a lot of free cash in this town. How much free cash do we have? I'm seeing millions of dollars going out for free cash.
It feels that way. There's a fund balance handout in your packet. It would be the green sheet. And that is your, talks about your certified free cash. This year, your town certified just a little over $2 million.
You answered my question.
Thank you.
And one more question. Where do we get, through the moderator, where do we get the free cash from? I think I'm afraid to ask that.
So, there's a number of contributors to that free cash number. The primary number is the amount of free cash that you did not appropriate last year, to the tune of about $775,000 that was certified for FY25, and you did not appropriate it, so it rolls over to the next year.
So the voters are doing pretty good here then.
You're doing very well.
For the moderator, thank you.
Thank you.
For answering that. I think he answered it.
Yep.
If you're satisfied.
$2 million?
Further question or comment? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 9. Authorization to transfer funds to the stabilization fund. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. My name is Raj. I move the town vote to transfer a sum of $100,000 from certified free cash to the stabilization fund.
Is there a second? Mr. Frieden seconds. Thank you. Any explanation or presentation?
Explanation is given in the handout.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment?
Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Question or comment from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 10, authorization to appropriate funds to reduce the fiscal year 26 tax rate. Is there a motion?
David Ashwell, I move the town transfer, excuse me. I move the town vote to transfer the sum of $115,000 from the tax levy stabilization fund to reduce or stabilize the fiscal year 26 tax revenue.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any explanation or presentation?
Explanation is in the handout. Thank you.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment?
Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none. Any question or comment from the public? Hearing none. This requires a 2/3 vote.
Majority.
Huh?
Majority.
A majority? It looks like 2/3, but I'm advised it's majority. Don't feel like you just need to vote no to be difficult, though, okay? So, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Unanimous is more than a majority and more than 2/3. Article 11, authorization to amend the general bylaws, earth removal, renewal, or revocation of permit. Is there a motion?
There is. It's James Morrissey, Select Board member. I move the town vote to approve Article 11 as printed in the warrant.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any explanation or presentation on this?
The explanation is in your packets.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment? Hearing none. Question or comment from the public?
Lisa Nowak, 93 Pine Island. Who is on the earth removal board? Sounds like a really obscure.
Okay, there's a question pending. Anybody have an answer for that? Membership of the earth removal board. Mr. Frieden.
Hey, Mark Frieden, 8 Pinewood Drive. I think I'm on it. I think, Raj is on it. I'm not sure. It's people who are on a whole bunch of other committees. There's a water district guy, there's electric.
Conservation Commission.
There's 5, I think. Oh, Board of Health is on it. Concom, Board of Health. I mean, it's people from town.
Okay, thank you.
Neil Peterson, 67 Malden Street. Just curious as to who we envision would be the designee to do the inspection, if not the building inspector, unless Mr. Frieden has some expertise in the field.
I was 100% not prepared for this. 100% not prepared for this. The designee would be hopefully an engineer or a surveyor who's qualified to evaluate projects where you're removing a lot of earth and you're not letting stormwater go crazy all over the neighbors.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Mr. Frieden.
Sure.
Is that a cheaper solution than having the building inspector do it?
No.
May I ask a follow-up through you?
Certainly.
Thank you very much. Do we have plans to engage someone to be available to do this?
I don't. I think that it's giving the board the freedom to find the person to do it, either an engineer that they pay or somebody else qualified for, I don't know, DPW guy or a board of health guy or just somebody who is qualified to do the inspection.
So last question, I hope through you, Mr. Moderator. Is
Go ahead.
there a requirement of licensure for the designee as drafted within the language of the proposed warrant article?
I do not think so.
There is not.
So I lied, one last one. So in theory.
You didn't lie, you were just wrong. Go ahead.
In theory, anyone could be a designee at any time to perform the inspection.
I think you're the designee now.
Nobody wants that.
But yes, I think anybody could be the designee.
Christina Bedoni, One Pheasant Hill Run. Through you, I have a question. Who wrote the amendment to this to recommend it?
I wrote the placeholder requesting that this happen. The amendment did not go through, or my edit did not go through exactly. To somebody's question, I did have a recovery of funds in it that didn't quite make it to the bylaw. I wanted to be able to pass the cost of whoever the designee is along to the applicant. That didn't get there. I think there was something else, and it didn't come through exactly like edited, but I did request it in an effort that the earth removal board, which does not remove the entire earth, which was brought up at a different meeting, is able to actually do their job. Before, when it was the the building inspector doing the inspection, it was just written in there and he would do it. I actually don't know if he was qualified. I guess that's the end of that question.
Go ahead.
Maybe not a question. First, Raj is not on that board that you're on. Second, I get concerned because I'm on a lot of boards, and I think Vanessa's actually been appointed from the select board on this. A lot of volunteers are forced to take positions that I wouldn't know what to do with earth removal, and I think it should stay with the building inspector, because if I show up at your house and say, yeah, I think that's enough earth to take away, I'm not sure what will happen. And in this town, that could actually happen. I could show up at your house on the earth removal board and say, I think that's enough. So I think this one should stay with the building inspector. That was my personal opinion, but it's up to you guys.
Can I respond to that?
Please do.
The reason it started is because the building inspector did not want to do it.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, Mr. Frieden, for confirming that there is no reimbursement component in this bylaw. So is that possible to have that happen, or where would the funding come from to pay for this third-party inspector designee that would?
Go ahead, Mr. Frieden.
I guess it could happen based on the the earth removal board fee for the application. I guess they set their own fee so they could raise the fee enough to cover it and just have sort of a balance in their rotating fund to cover it. That would be my estimate.
Well, quick follow-up. This is for a renewal, though, right? So is there a fee associated with the renewal?
Yes, but I think it was for anywhere it mentioned the building inspector being involved.
Over here.
May I, through you, to Mr. Frieden, ask if we could collaborate outside and table the motion for the warrant article for the interim, with the hopes of possibly finding a solution to amend it in a way satisfactory to him?
I'll treat that as a motion to table if you wish.
I move to table.
Who seconds? Thank you.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
Should we confirm through council whether what the scope of an amendment could or should entail, so that we don't waste anybody's collaboration?
I don't know that there's an amendment in the offing. I think that there's a discussion in the offing.
May I make an offer through you to the town administrator?
Yeah.
Expand upon the proposed amendment, at least in the general scope. So I thought she raised a good point.
If you're going to go out and discuss an amendment, then I need to talk to town council. If you're going to go talk about how might we approach this and then come back with a proposal, that's a little different. Hang on.
In the interest of time, I'll keep my motion on the floor that we table a vote on this warrant article for the time being so we can speed this process along. And then
Great.
We'll be back.
Table for a few minutes, Neil, or table for until another town meeting?
Hopefully until the end of the meeting, and we'll hope to readdress it before the meeting concludes.
And then I withdraw my second.
Yeah. If you want to pile other stuff in here, you're going to get beyond the scope and it won't be a proper amendment. So there's a danger that you might come up with a great solution, but if it goes beyond the scope, we won't be able to act on it.
I'm willing to embrace that danger.
Okay.
If Mr. Friedman is...
Danger embraced. The motion to table the motion to table is pending before this body. Let's discuss. I think we have been discussing. Any discussion on the motion to table, which means we're going to stop talking about this for now. We're not saying we're never going to look at it again. Could we look at it again later this meeting? We could. And if they go out and talk about an amendment, it's going to have to be within this scope, and it can't go beyond this scope, or else we can't do anything with it. So.
Can I make a comment?
Comment.
Mark Frieden, 8 Pinewood Drive. I would request that we make sure we push it through tonight so that the earth removal board can continue their work legally without the building inspector. And there's really only one application every year, and it's the same guy, and it's always fine. I don't think this is a huge concern. If we wanted to pass it like this, bring it back next year, there's not a lot going on. You know, the earth is not going to be removed.
Thank you.
I think I'm still waiting on a second.
Huh?
I think I'm still waiting on a second on the motion.
No, Mark seconded.
I think he...
Mr. Frieden, did you not second the motion to table?
I took it back, based upon that it was still happening tonight.
I'm under the impression that the motion was seconded.
Yes. Yes, it was.
I'm correct, right?
Very good.
If it's not seconded, I'll second. Thank you. How's that?
Okay. So, then let's vote on the motion to table. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Motion's tabled. Article 12, authorization to amend the general bylaws. Is there a motion on Article 12?
Vanessa Kuzmanovsky, I move the town vote to approve Article 12 as printed in the warrant.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Pedoni, thank you. Any explanation or presentation?
I actually will give an explanation for this one. This warrant article proposes to amend the town's general bylaws to change the structure of the townwide planning committee. The current structure, which includes representatives from various boards and committees, would be replaced with a 13-member committee consisting of the town administrator as chair, 5 voting members appointed by the town administrator from interested residents, and 7 associate non-voting members, 5 of whom must not be municipal employees or officials. In the absence of a voting member, the chair may appoint an associate member to vote based on topic relevance or personal preference.
Thank you. Town boards or committees, any recommendations or comments? Hearing none. Any question or comment from the public? Hearing none. Oh, go ahead.
Sonoak, Pine Iron Street. My only objection is the town administrator choosing people. So like if you had the 5 voting members chosen by the town administrator, so if you had 10 people apply for the position, not that we ever do have that many, but I would think it would be fairer to just like put the names in the hat and just pick 5, right? Or, you know, if there's a missing person because you need to appoint one of these 7 officials to be a voting member, you know, put the names in the bucket and pick. You know, let it be random as opposed to choice.
Thank you. Further question or comment? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 13. Authorization to amend the personnel bylaw or the general bylaw of the general bylaws, vacation accrual. Is there a motion?
Cheryl Christant, 130 Hillside Village Drive. I'm the chair of the Personnel Board. I move the town vote to approve Article 13 as printed in the warrant, except to add at the beginning of A1 the following, effective July 1st, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded? Thank you. Any explanation or presentation on this?
It is in the packets.
Okay,
The Personnel Board recommends approval.
thank you. Any other town boards or committees? Hearing none. Any question or comment from the public?
I just have one question.
I know you don't need a microphone back there, but I want to make sure everyone can hear you.
Bernie Gow, 307 Prospect. Is there any change in the amount of weeks that they get? It's just the language that's changing, the dates are changing, but that's what they get. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Comment over here?
James Kingsley, 9 Lisa Circle. If I recall correctly, 2 years ago, this body voted to switch to an accrual model. Why are we now voting to switch back?
Thank you for the question. Is there someone from the town who can address that?
I'd be happy to give it a try.
Please do.
So as I understand it, in 2023, this body did adopt a vacation accrual process. The goal of that was to stop the trend, or I guess maybe not a trend, but an occurrence of employees separating from the town shortly after receiving their front-loaded vacation time every July, or on their, it's July. It's July. That became an accounting, very challenging for the accounting department to calculate all of the accruals. And as we found out, there were some alignments that were not hitting, I don't know how to say this. Anyways, as a result, we've discussed that removing the accrual, but adding a accountability for the severance. So if you decide to separate from the town early, July or August, that's when the accrual takes place. So the town is only on the hook to pay vacation based on the amount of weeks that have been worked, as opposed to the lump sum that is given to the employee in July. So the goal here is to meet both needs. One is to remove the administrative challenge, or the administrative burden for, I guess, from staff as to calculating and keeping track of the accrual, but also protecting the town from a circumstance in which an employee wishes to separate and then take their 4 weeks of vacation with them in a check.
Thank you.
Apologies, created a new and interesting question, I guess. So if I've understood you correctly, if I come work for you on July 1st, I work 12 months for you.
Yes.
I am given 2 weeks of vacation.
You're
I
welcome.
should presumably be able to quit and get paid out my 2 weeks of vacation now?
Absolutely. It depends on when you quit.
July 2nd, exactly 1 year after I've worked.
You would,
In 2 weeks, you would have earned it.
Yeah, that was what I thought.
so that's but the following year.
You wouldn't get another 2. You wouldn't get 4 weeks. You'd get 2. The way it's...
Okay, so formerly you would get your vacation ahead of time, not after time. Okay. Thank you. I'm a little worried the town ERP system doesn't just handle accrual, but I will take your word that it's hard on the accounting.
Thank you. Further question or comment from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 14. Authorization to amend the personnel bylaw of the general bylaws, classification and compensation plan. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'd like to move the town approve Article 14 as printed in the warrant.
Thank you, Mr. Morrissey. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any explanation or presentation?
It's printed in the packet.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment?
Finance Committee recommends approval.
Thank you, Finance.
The Personnel Board recommends approval.
Thank you, Personnel. Any others? Hearing none. Any question or comment from the public? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 15, authorization to amend the personnel bylaw of the general bylaws, classification and compensation plan. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Moderator. I move the town vote to approve Article 15 as printed in the warrant.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Explanation or presentation?
Explanation is given in the handout.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment?
Personnel Board recommends approval.
Thank you, Personnel. Any others? Hearing none. Question or comment from the public?
Dave Feemy, 86 Sterling Street. Since there's 2 parts to this article, this warrant article, I think they should be split up.
That sounds like a good idea. Just a moment. All right, that's within the moderator's discretion to divide the question. We don't have to vote to divide the question. I can just do it, and I'm gonna. And so let's talk about the van driver first. So is there a question or comment about the van driver portion of this article? Hearing none. I will ask for a vote to approve with respect only to the van driver portion and not with respect to the special police officer portion. Okay, so only the van driver portion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Unanimous. The van driver portion passes. Let's now move on to the special police officer portion. Is there any question or comment from the public?
Dave Feemy, 86 Sterling Street. Okay, I'm confused about this part of the article.
Okay.
Special police officer position. I don't have a problem with the special police officer position. I just don't think that enough information is being given to us. I think that this should be put on hold until more information is provided. It's just saying that the practice of allowing retired police officers to work as detail officers, there was information that was provided that came from the chief of police, Chief Minich, that specifically said that it had to be a police officer that was retired from the West Boylston Police Department and that voluntarily retired. So there was specific information, and that's not what this is this not what this article is saying. So I think that we should hold off on this until more information is provided to us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Further question or comment?
May I offer a quick statement?
Sure.
As I understand, this is a practice that is occurring. We are currently using retired police officers for detail work. That position is not listed in our town bylaw in the classification plan. The only change that is being made is to add that title to our current wage and our current classification schedule, basically codifying a practice that is in existence. So there is no new position that's being created per se. It is simply allowing that position to exist within our town bylaw so that should the question come up, how does this individual fit into your town's wage and classification schedule, we can point to it and say that's where that position lives. But it is a position that is held, and currently special police officers continue to do the work of the detail assignments.
Thank you.
Through the moderator, Bernie Dell, 307 Prospect. I'm just asking a question in regards to the special police officers. I know if they're active police officers that they get a minimum of 4 hours, or 4 hours, whether they work an hour or two. Or how does that work when they're retired? And second of all, how does it work? Who pays them? Is it the utility companies that may be using them for safety reasons, or does the town pay them, and then they get reimbursed, or what?
So I'm confident answering that it is a utility that pays for these pays for this work, or if not a utility, then I'm sorry, Christy. Yeah, I'm trying to get him to come a little bit further down. What I was doing is stalling for time as Acting Chief Belvin was making his way very slowly to the microphone.
Hi, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Dowd.
You're welcome.
Through the moderator.
Through the moderator. My name is Sergeant Tom Belvin, West Boylston Police. So everybody is covered under our collective bargaining agreement. Whatever the CBA says is how they are paid.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Sergeant. In West Boylston, I believe, like most municipalities, you have a minimum of 4 hours. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you're on a detail and the detail only lasts an hour and a half, and I'm not criticizing it, by the way. I have many dear friends that are police officers. Does that work? Do the retired police officers also, even though they're retired and no longer officially employed, fall under that 4 hours also?
Yes, they do.
Thank you. That's my question. I wanted an answer. Thank you. Thank you very much. And generally, one more thing through the moderator.
Go ahead.
As it was stated by the town administrator, I'm assuming that most of these paid details are paid by not the municipality, but by the utility companies? Is that
or subcontractors for town municipalities.
Subcontractors. Thank you.
Also, it would also cover school dances, football games, that type of thing.
But that sounds like a good gig. I'm a retired probation officer. Can I do that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Pedoni.
Through you, moderator.
Sure.
These folks can't pick up, say, first shift, second shift, third shift, and be paid through the town of West Boylston.
No, details only.
Details only, so it's not going to be in a few months coming back because the budget's blown up, but over time, these are folks just picking up details that on a...
The union would never allow that.
Sorry, I know you love the mic, so I figured I'd leave you here longer.
Thank you. Behind you.
Marie Murphy, 128 Worcester Street. It isn't specific as to what retired police officers. Can it be in any town? That it's a retired police officer?
Does anybody from the town know an answer? Please.
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe our CBA restricts it to police officers retired from the town of West Boylston in good standing.
Okay, so it's not contained within the bylaw, but the collective bargaining agreement says they have to be a West Boylston retiree.
Correct.
Can I address that?
Yep.
I love you, Sergeant, but I think you're incorrect. I've seen Worcester police officers, I know many of them. I've worked in Worcester District Court for 35 years. I've seen them work in the town of West Boylston, not from Holden. They've worked in Holden, they worked in West Boylston, they retired from Worcester, and also I've seen them from towns like Templeton working the streets of West Boylston. I know specifically, so I just don't know if you want to.
So in some cases, we have mutual aid agreements, and we will allow police officers from other towns to work in our town. And I believe the billing process is that we send the paycheck to their town to be processed. Also, you might be seeing the special traffic constables. They are not police officers. They are there for traffic only. And some retired Worcester police officers have signed up to become special traffic constables.
I didn't know that there was a special distinction about that, because I know some Worcester police officers haven't retired, but I know personally, I've worked in the town of West Boylston.
Yes, I think we have 3 from Worcester. I'm not positive on that number, though.
Thank you, Sergeant. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Behind you.
I move the question.
Mr. Feeney was on his way down, so I'll
Dave
hear
Feeney,
from him.
86 Sterling Street. Okay. I have a document that was written by Chief Minich that specifically says, "The retired police officers shall have previously served as a regular full-time police officer for the town of West Boylston and voluntarily retired." So this special police officer that they were asking for has to be retired from West Boylston and has had to have voluntarily retired.
Right.
So it's specific. And I don't have anything, I don't have a problem with, I have no problem with this. It's
Thanks.
just that this is a document.
Don't have a problem with me, okay?
This is well, through you, to the acting chief, I have no problem with this. It's just that this is confusing about what they're trying to say, and it's not, that's why I'm saying that there needs to be more information that needs to be provided to the public. So that's all I have to say.
All right, let's vote. All in favor of the special police officer portion, because we already voted on the van driver, right? So just the special police officer portion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Article 16, authorization to amend the zoning bylaw of the general bylaws.
Before we do that, can we do the earth removal one?
No, I've announced this one, so I want to do this one. Sorry. So is there a motion on Article 16?
There is a motion. Actually, I think this will accomplish what Mr. Frieden wanted to accomplish. I move that the town refer this article back to the select board for further study.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, so who seconded? Mr. Peterson. Thank you. I think we can debate it, but I don't know that we need to. So does anybody need to comment on this? If not, all in favor of referring it, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, it's referred. Mr. Frieden, I'll entertain your motion to remove the previous motion from the table on Article,
Yeah, whichever one.
whatever it was.
The earth removal, can we also table that one, work on it some more, and come back at next town meeting?
If it's been tabled, if we're not going to pick it back up and work on it more, you can leave it on the table and it'll
Okay, I'm going to leave that one on the table.
die a peaceful death when we dissolve the meeting. All right, in that case, Article 17. Authorization to accept MGL Chapter 32, Section 4, 2B, and Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 32, 4, 2B and a half, firefighter retirement calculation. Is there a motion?
I move the town vote to accept the provisions of MGL 3242B and MGL 3242B and a half to allow permanent, intermittent, or call firefighters to be credited with full-time service for the purpose of calculating retirement benefits in accordance with Chapter 32 of the Massachusetts General Laws and other applicable laws and collective bargaining agreements.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any explanation or presentation on this?
Explanation is in the packet.
Thank you. Town boards and committees, any recommendation or comment? Hearing none. Question or comment from the public?
Hi, Ethan Carroll, Henry Street. I'm just curious, I know that there's an increased cost as pensions keep going higher and higher. Does the town know what kind of cost it's going to incur by including a number of unknown individuals into the retirement system?
Mr. Moderator?
Go ahead.
The way this article is written, this refers to firefighters that served in the town of West Boylston as part-time or call firefighters and then moved on to other communities as a full-time firefighter. So the cost of their pension or their retirement would be borne by those other communities. There is no cost to the town of West Boylston with this article.
So potentially, if somebody had been a call firefighter for the town for 20 years, is there anyone that would qualify?
Go ahead.
If it happened in the reverse, we don't have any employees that qualify in that capacity today. Should we hire a full-time firefighter that was eligible for this provision from another community, and they retired from the town of West Boylston, they would be eligible to buy back that credible service, and we would pay for that pension. But it is not, there is not, as far as this article is concerned, and in this moment in time, there are no firefighters that would qualify.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bernie Gal, 307 Prospect Street. So this article has to do with future firefighters coming in that may have been on permanent interim or called firefighter from another municipality into this town.
That is correct.
That's all that's. We don't have anybody as of yet that we know would qualify for this.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that,
Yeah,
sir?
through the moderator.
Go ahead.
We don't have, I think you answered the question, but I didn't hear you properly, I don't think. We don't have anybody in that particular position now in town, and we don't have any prospects in the near future that you see.
I can't advise as to whether there's prospects in the future because I don't
Yeah, I
know
understand.
what our future hiring is. But I've been advised by our fire chief that that we don't have anybody in our current department that qualifies.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Further question or comment from the public?
Is this something that we have to do, or is this something that is generally optional?
Name and address, please.
Richard Footnote, Newton Street.
Anyone from the town know an answer to that?
Yeah, there is no mandate for this. This is, my understanding is that other communities have adopted these provisions and that there's, in the firefighters, yeah. I'm going to defer to council.
Darren Klein, through the moderator.
Please.
Two things. To answer the question you just asked, this is a local option statute. It is not mandatory at all. The town does not have any obligation to adopt this. It's a local option. And just to be clear, because there are a lot of different parts to this, and I don't know what the makeup of the fire department is, but this would apply to any town firefighter who was a call firefighter here or a temporary firefighter here they would be eligible to buy back the service too. It wouldn't just be service for other towns. It would include any firefighters who were also called firefighters in this town.
Thank you. Further question or comment?
Briefly, just Neil Peterson, 67 Malden. Is it fair to say, through you, Mr. Moderator, to the town administrator and perhaps town council, if he has an opinion, is it fair to say that by adopting this, West Boylston would be a more attractive community for firefighters to desire to come to West Boylston and serve here or either in other communities? Thank you.
If you know an answer.
That's certainly a fair statement.
Thank you. Further question or comment? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I don't think there's any other business. I will entertain a motion to dissolve the meeting. By Mr. Frieden, second. I need to see who's seconding. Mr. Ashwell's the seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are dissolved.